What's up, people, and welcome into All You Can Eat Warriors. And it's a great time to be a Warriors fan right now. And we've got an amazing show for you lined up tonight. But I just want to welcome in my man Ash. How you doing, my bro?
Yeah, all good, bro. Really happy after the victory of the weekend. Statement game, brother. And we'll get into that a little bit later on, but doing well over here, bros.
Absolutely. And the man himself, King of the Hill, the King Hill, Josh. How you doing, my man, Josh Hill?
Hey, bro. Hey, I love that. I love that, bro. I am so good. Um, oh man, I couldn't take my eyes off the screen. I still can't really, I've watched the highlights like 4 or 5 times already. Just whoo.
Absolutely, bro. And I think everyone has. I know everyone that I've spoken to as well, bro. We're pumped for the. We're absolutely stoked from that performance. But big up everyone in the chat, man. We see all the channel members coming through. Everyone, yeah, man. Like Strictly saying, watched it 5 or 6 times. Ash has done his breakdown too. He's going to share some stuff about what he's seen. But we're going to definitely get into it, man. Massive night too, guys. We're going to do a tier list. For the OGs that know us with our tier list, we pull it out every mid-season and end of season. We've got it back up and running again, so we're going to break that down. So hang in there, enjoy it. We're gonna have a good night tonight. But let's start off, boys, with the post-match thoughts from this one. I had my little spiel. I went crazy. I was talking about the moon landing and other crazy stuff. Went a bit overboard. I apologize to everyone, but. Just the vibe that I got from it for me personally. But I want to give you guys some time here. I'll chuck at this one first at you, Ash. What was your thoughts? I know you messaged me, bro, saying, "Hey, leave on, watch this game, bro." It's a statement game, all of that, man. Share your thoughts on the performance and what you took from it.
Yeah, I think that honestly, it is a statement game. It's a put the flag in the ground and say, hey guys, the Raiders have done that previously, and a lot of people are like, all right, they're premiership threats this year or anything like that. Again, I probably wouldn't put us, or I think that we are around abouts where the premiership threats should be, just judging on the year that is going. But from the year that started off to be where we're looking at a transition period to where a lot of people are questioning if we can even be a top 8 side this year. A lot of people, outside of Warriors fans, put us in bottom 4 wooden spoon race this year. For us to turn it around this quickly without the experience that they had of Sean Johnson, Adam Fanua-Blake and that, as which we'll touch on a little bit too, but which is just absolutely incredible. And this game summarized it so much of what we have done right this year. We play so much as a team. Like every person I've come across and said, if you can name the 3 best players in this game, I reckon you get 3 different players from a lot of different people, right? And that's how good the team's playing at the moment. Like you got Aaron Clark that's stepping up in the middle. Quick playable speed that just opens up our attack at the moment, doing all the cleanup work and defense. You got James Fisher-Harris that all the behind the scenes stuff that he's doing for our boys, and it's showing our young kids that are stepping up to the level. Now talking on our young kids, bro, Dimitric's game over the weekend, incredible. Jacob Laban's first stint, absolutely incredible. Lekal Lasima scoring tries again, just looking freakish in the air, as Sam Healy, his first stint, Wade Egan goes down, he's like, yeah, right, I can do that, bruz. Honestly. And then off the back of that, bro, we've got a guy that's contending for a Dally M medal this year, and he continues to put a performance and a performance upon each other. There's no dip off. He's just continuing to add more to his game, which is the most incredible thing. No one would have even thought of this with Luke Metcalf to start the season. They would have thought maybe it would have took to a late mid-season before we see maybe up and down performances from him. He's been so consistent as a number 7 for us this year. So honestly, bro, 2023, running through 2023 on my channel and saying that it felt like a chapter year. Well, we're just turning another leaf to a chapter and we're growing as a side game by game. This year's doing that exact same thing, but with the potential that it's going to continue on for more years to come. 2023 always felt like it kind of had a cap to it when we lose Sean Johnson, those sort of boys. Like, how long can we do that before our young kids step up? Can they step up? This year is like, all right, so young kids are stepping up already. And the young kids are young. So, how long can this go on for? Can we continue to do this for many years to come? And I felt like that was the first aspect of that. People worried about our defense. We got our defense sorted. People worried with our attack. 2 games in a row, bro, we're scoring over 30 points. 36 against the Rabbitohs, 40 against the Sharkies. And the Sharkies were a top 4 defensive side, before that game from memory, or around about the top 4. So, incredible, bro. Incredible.
Absolutely, bro. Chuck this Great call there, Ash. All those thoughts. I'll check this back at you, Josh, man. What was your raw emotion, your thoughts, and what does this mean to you, as you know, what we are?
Yeah. I mean, I echo a lot of what Ash did say. Like, to me, 2023 was like lightning in a bottle. And we, caught it. Everything was right. Everything was perfect.
Great analogy.
And we just stumbled at the last, the second to last hurdle. Whereas like this year, it feels like we're creating the lightning, and we're like striking down all these other teams.
I like that.
With like the way everyone's playing for each other, bro. It's like a cyclone, man. Like we are wrecking everybody. I'm on the weather tonight. If you guys didn't know, thunderstorms outside. You know how
weatherman.
Yeah, but no, I think this week after Mitch Barnett went down against the Rabbitohs, I was going into this game going, like I'm kind of glad, like I'm busy. Like I was at a friend's birthday party. Shout out, I did watch the game the whole way through that party, but I was like, yeah, I'm glad, like I'm busy, like I think this might be a loss. And then as we got closer and closer and closer, I just became more and more confident. And it turned from, like, I think we'll lose in a narrow one to, I think we'll win in a narrow one to like, on Friday night being like, yeah, this is it. Like, this is going to be our game. And then the next morning hearing Egan was out and I was like, oh, okay, we're just going to win it by a little bit again. But like I always had thought we were going to win. And I think for me, it was coming up against AFB. I think the boys really wanted to make a statement, even like Fish as well, like the statement that he wanted to make. And I think that must be the buzzword for this game as well. Statement. Like, I guess that's our season, right? It's a statement, like, the Warriors are coming. But Fish wanted to make a statement saying like, hey, look, our club made the right choice in letting you walk and bringing me over here. And so, yeah, I don't know, bro. It was such a good game. Sorry to Bjorn and Sophie for watching the game through your birthday, but I enjoyed it. Both things.
Unreal.
Yeah. So Fish has got that kind of new boyfriend energy. Like, bro, I'm the upgrade, bro. You stay looking, bro. You stay watching on the other side, bro. I got this right here. I love it, bro. Yeah, a lot of people agreeing with us in the chat. Statement performance, and look, for me again, like I was saying, I just like I said, I believed in Webby, and I believed in everything we've been doing and building to it. But that one for me was like, okay, you've like Ash said, you put the flag in the ground. You drew the line in the sand, saying this is a new chapter. We're stepping over that hill. What's that one? When Caesar walked over the Rubicon. I don't know if you know the history. It was like he was saying when he was going into Rome. Have you heard? I listened to a few history podcasts.
I see.
When he crossed over the Rubicon, it meant that he was coming for Rome, bro. We're coming for Rome right now. You know what I mean? Coming for the NRL title. But now, look, man. Let's just move. You guys summed it up perfectly. The match, like I said for myself personally, it was a turning point, and I've read some of the comments to my video, and there's still a good majority, and I respect them. Like I said, we're going for the title, we're going for the premiership. Still, and understandably so. Hold your horses. We still need to beat Storm. We need to beat the Raiders, and I get that. I just felt, for me personally, like this was like something's turned here. And even if we don't win the final or whatever, there's an attitude change or something bigger that is going to lead to success. Do you guys feel the same as me, or there's still some markers that you need to see? I'll probably check that back at you, Josh, and then I'll come back to Ash with that one after.
Yeah, to me, I thought this was the end of our turning point. I think we've been turning for a few weeks now.
Nice.
And I think it was typified by that performance. And I think, normally around this time of the year or like just before our first bye, or, before round 12, before we get into the bye season, we start falling off a little bit and things aren't quite hitting. And the performances we're throwing out, like they weren't fantastic, but we were getting the job done. And that's what we haven't done in the past. And so I think with this being the end of the turning point of like, hey, we are here, and this is who we are. This is what, like, we are coming for this premiership. And to me, like, even that Raiders game, even though we lost, still felt like we were on top, and we're dominant. We're still like a really, really good team. Like, I went away from that game like disappointed that we didn't win, but like not at all like, oh, okay, that's it. I don't know if we'll be able to recover from this. Like, it was straight up just back to it. Let's go. Let's keep working. And so I think, I think that was the end of our turning point. And now we're just gonna start firing, and hopefully we'll continue to fire, and these 40-10 wins will become less of a statement and more of just the norm.
Yeah. Is that the same for you, Ash? You feel it the same way?
Yeah, similar. Like, me, I don't like to be too high or too low. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I like to be kind of in the middle, right? But I think this was like, as a turning point, I think this was a turning point for me from saying that we are transitioning to where, now we're in we're in that top 8 to top 4 business now. Like, we look like a side that is going to be sitting here for a long period of time, or, at least challenging for a title, at least a roundabouts this year, right? Where to start the year, as you know from me, I was always thinking that we're fighting for an 8, and I think that we can get an 8 spot. But to get into that top 6 to top 4 range would be a little bit of a stretch for me, in my opinion, to get up to that range. But very, very happy to say that, I feel like this is one of the moments where I've looked at the side, I'm like, people were worried about our defense, after that first game in Vegas. We cleaned that up, and we cleaned that up tenfold, right? We're a top 4 defensive side in the competition right now, and we're improving to become one of the best right there with the Dogs. And then off the back of that, everyone was like, well, we're a 2D attacking side. We're very structured, which we are in a sense, but that helps with our consistency. But we can't put on the points, we can't put on full field tries, stuff like that. We're starting to see it now. Like, we got speed now. Like, Luke Metcalf has had, a couple of big 80-meter breaks for tries and setting up boys from decent distances. So those are the turning points that I think in game is changing a lot of things. And I'm now looking at where it's like, all right, even with the side we have this year, we can challenge for something. Like, we can push a side to the brink, and maybe if all the cards fall where they may, we may end up in a grand final in our transitional year. Like, who would have thought that to start the season? So I think, this game definitely looked like the transitional piece to say, hey guys, we're more than just a around the mid pack sort of side. We are a side that's going to be contending the next couple of years.
Yeah, I believe it in terms of like the intentional part. The us doing our part is, trying to get a top 4 finish or trying to get a top 2, get a home semi. But there's a lot of luck that goes into it too. Let's be honest, maybe we need a Melbourne to be knocked out by the Raiders or something. And then, there's things that kind of, you still got to say, look, things need to fall our way. But like, for what I feel is in terms of intent and what, we're able and capable of doing is going for that home final, pushing for a top 4 and going one further if we can. And the belief I see in the players, like, and it's a renewed belief, because you see the older guys like Catewell, Roger are performing at near on really good levels for their age, comparatively. Then you got youth that are just not afraid of anyone. Laban's pushing people around. Dimitri doesn't care. He's throwing short balls to fair. Like they're bringing that renewed energy. And I just think that's a really good balance to have, bro. You have balance of youth, experience, and even like a new kind of young house pairing that's kind of fresh, not so set in their ways, open to new ideas. When I look at CHT and Metcalf, I see just not overly structured, like got a structure, but still leaning on their natural skills and talents.
Agreed.
And exploring new ideas within the structure, which is, bro, absolutely amazing. So, yeah, I'm kind of in that space, and I just feel real confident, man. You guys got any more thoughts on this one?
Yeah, to cap on that too, like, when was the last time that we've had, from the system that we built, we got Barnett to a state of origin, and we all can agree if he wasn't injured right now, he'd be in a state of origin jersey for the Blues. Now we got Kurt Catewell, turning back the clock and getting back into a Queensland jersey. 2 years in a row, he's been in the Queensland jersey under our system, and now there's even talks of, if Reece Robson went down, Wade Egan was in talks for being a number 9 for the Blues this year to take over Reece Robson's spot. Or, I'm hearing Andrew Johns, not just talking about Isaiah Katoa being a future number 7 for the New South Wales Blues, but he's now bringing up the conversation of Luke Metcalf after his first season at number 7 in the NRL for being in contention for a 7 jersey for the Blues down the track. When was there ever a time in the Warriors, for the Warriors to have that? We've already had Jacob Lilliman as a Queensland, Potter off the bench every so often or whatever, or, Ryan Hoffman coming over from the Melbourne Storm and had the potential of a New South Wales Blues jersey in that. That was the last time I remember, us having that cattle in the bank, especially for the Australian viewers out there that only worry about state of origin as credentials for players. Now we look even deeper to credentials of international players with James Fisher-Harris, what he's done on the international stage, and Chance has done on the international stage. Like Rogers been the Daily M Player of the Year. Like the cattle's there too. Like when I look at the size of the top 4 right now, when we're stamping our authority, can we take a new level? I still think we got so more gears in the repertoire. I think players are still getting back into their game. Like we still haven't seen Dallin back to his full potential just yet. I think that he's still working his way back into finding his way. Rogers starting to really wind up a little bit more now, but I still think there's a little bit more to Rogers' game that will come. It's just I feel like there's there's another step we can take here, and I think that's what makes this a little bit more of a threat than maybe some other sides in the competition that are really pushing their potential right now.
Yeah, you feel that, Josh? I just want to maybe if you can talk a little bit in context to the actual NRL, is that top 4 starting to cement itself and separate itself from the rest of the comp? And can you see us in that mix where it's like we're actually competing above Rose, shout out to Rose. I asked Rose, do you think we're legit for top 2, top 4? And he's like, well, we are the Sharks technically in the ladder right now. What are they, 5th?
Mm-hmm.
Fifth or 6th?
Yeah.
We smashed them. So that kind of tells you there's a little bit of a gap. Do you agree with that, or what's your thoughts around the comp, where we sit within the context of the comp?
Yeah, I think the gap's 4 points now or something between 4th and 5th or something like that. And we did everyone a favor on the weekend smashing the Sharks to put us as a top 4 clear. But I think we are just we are a typified top 4 team. When you think of top 4 teams in the past, you think of gritty teams and teams that grind out wins, the teams that find a way to win when everything is going against them. And that's what we've been able to do this year. I look back at Magic Round, that second half where we were just able to hang on and somehow come out with the win. We don't do that last year, we don't do that. And I don't even think we do that in 2023. That's what this team is. And I think our 2023 team again was a bit like that lightning in a bottle. It was everything was going well and we managed to make it into the top 4. And, it was more like the other teams weren't as great, weren't as good as we were, which is why we were there, And so I think this year where we're actually stamping our authority and saying, hey, look, we are in this top 4 because we deserve it. And I think the only team, and I know we've lost to the Raiders twice, but the only team I'm scared of in this top 4 is the Storm.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm, and I don't want this to come back and bite me, but I don't think I'm that scared of the Bulldogs.
Look, I said I said we landed on the moon, pretty much. So if anyone's gonna hit, it's gonna come me. They're gonna clip me up. So you're fine, bro.
Bro, they'll just clip this whole podcast and say. But yeah, no, I think the way we are performing is so sustainable for finals football. It is what you would see in the finals, and the fact that we see it now, and we see us being able to do that in round 10 and round 11, round 12, building up even, through, and then having 2 great performances in the last 2 weeks. That is what we will do in the finals as well. It's not like we have to change our style of football when we get there. We're a top 4 team, and at the moment, I'm on, grand final or bust, really. Like not winning it,
Yeah.
but getting in. You know, like I'll say, like it'll be disappointing if we don't have like a prelim where we, you know, either win
Absolutely.
or like are good and then lose closely. Like if we get if what happened to us in 2023 happens to us again in the prelim, I'll be disappointed.
Yeah. That team, like, remember that prelim? Everyone was like, "Bro, we can't shut down offloads. You know, these teams are too physical for it." Like, it was kind of, yeah. I think this team's kind of on a different. It's gearing towards a different. It can defend. I think it can defend under pressure more than. Would you say that, Ash? It can defend under pressure more than previous years.
Yeah, for sure. And like, going
Yeah.
back to that Sharks game, right? Like, I think like one of the biggest standouts, Chance in that game, not just for his like attacking effort, obviously like, running for the amount of meters he runs for at the moment, which is, consistently holding up that high standard, but the amount of try saving efforts that were happening over the weekend as well.
Bro, that's amazing.
Last ditch effort, especially on our try line. Like, the Sharkies had a decent chunk of ball in our try line and we withstood them. And obviously, the Sharkies at the moment, they're looking a little bit imbalanced. They had a lot of troubles with like who's the chief on the field, who's going to get into the points. But I feel like we pushed them to that position as well. Like, there's a lot of teams that have crumbled under that. The Melbourne Storm crumbled under that. They beat the Melbourne Storm a couple of weeks ago, in decent fashion. And we did that to a team that a lot of people had contending this year. So obviously for me in general, just very, very happy to see that we've gotten to a point now of like, we can withstand a lot of pressure. The boys are digging in. Guys like Fish, bro, that he's just brought the dark arts we kind of touched on just before we jumped on, right? He's just brought this added like mongrel to the side, and then like the young boys are feeding off the back of it, and we just look like a team that sucks to play against, and that's what I've always wanted as a Warriors fan, and that's really like what I enjoy about the side that we got there. It's just it looks like it sucks to play against the Warriors right now.
Yeah, Josh, I just want to ask you about like the talent that's coming through. We've always had talent come through, but that talent has either been raw talent, undeveloped talent. I was super impressed to see those boys play on Saturday, and you can tell they've been coached. Like they've been coached and developed properly, and taught how to defend, taught how to play patient footy. They offloaded with the right times. That How have we changed that, man? Because I've always loved our talent coming through, the Solomon Akatas and the all of those boys, but they were raw. They weren't quite the finished product. But what we're getting now is like a level of quality that's ready to go. Literally, what do you make that down to, bro? Yeah, what's your thoughts around the current crop that we've got?
To me, like the way we implemented our system from day dot when we got there, right? And we said we're playing this style of football. This is how we're going to play, and these are the players we're looking for. And so, we lost Zion Mai'u, who some people were like, man, like that was the worst decision that we could have made, But
I was one. Yep.
The players that we have kept are players that can buy in, that can do the job, and that are ready to just slot into how Webby wants to coach. And the way that Webby is coaching is going down to New South Wales Cup, going down to Jersey Flag, to SG Ball, to Mats, all the way down, and feeding into the local comps as well. And so these young kids coming in, they've played the Warrior way for 2-3 years now, even and the kids that will come through will play the Warriors way for 4, 5, 6 years, And so when people say, oh, Webby needs to go after we lose, 30 points to 8 in Vegas, and after we have a tough year last year, they aren't understanding the systems that have been implemented and what has been done. And so when we see Leka do the things that he does, when we see Jacob Laban stand up to Kale Iro and, say, no, you're not going to push me down, and Dimitri, like the silky, putting Fish through a hole and then being there for Luke to score one of his own. Like when we see that, it's not surprising. It's not it's not something where we go, oh man, like he played incredible, like wow, it's the standard. And it's the standard that's been drilled into them from day dot. So we don't get a Solomon Ikata not passing the ball to Manu Vatuvai to score. We don't get a Conrad Hurrell, scoring 2 tries but dropping 9 balls. We don't get that anymore. And
yeah,
I mean, we get polished players. We get players that are ready to play NRL.
Yeah, we're at a point now.
You can pick the other ones. Sorry, Ash, just quickly. You could pick you got a variety of choices where you can I just don't have Solomon Ikata and Conrad Hurrell. I've got options. Yeah, go.
Yeah, and we're at a point now, where all Webby's decisions in those sort of sense of players he's kept in the lineup and doing those little things, and the players that he's dropped back the cup and they've been working on things and they've jumped back up and they've proven all these things right to where there was always these questions around why are we doing what we're doing, why is this happening, why. I was this is why this is happening. He's getting these kids to do these little things that a lot of people aren't really noticing. But when they learn these things and jump back up into first grade, they're hitting at another level on top of that, right? The first time we saw Jacob Laban, the impact was great and everyone saw the potential in him, but there was still a couple of little rough patches that people, oh, okay, all right, yep, drop back down. The performance over the weekend when he started that game, man, the shots he was pulling off, the defensive movements he was in, he was unreal. And it just shows that all the little things that Webby's hey, this is what we're working on. This is what we're going to work towards. This is what gets you back into our jersey if you just work on it and get there. And he's been proven right in every single time. I don't remember a decision Webby's really made at the moment to where it's going to be well, I don't agree with it, but and it's not gone right. Honestly, I really don't. And I argue anyone to really even give out a name. I don't see anyone that's gone away that I've looked at and gone, yeah, that's a massive loss. Why did we not,
Yeah, Josh, you got something? Yep.
Oh, no. I was just thinking, even our young boys, they're still in cup, right? We've got Edemir Toyava, who is still plying his trade. He's getting there. He's almost to the point where, he can crack first grade. You've got Toby Crosby coming through. Tanner just cracked first grade, a few weeks ago, and he's been mean. These guys that are coming through, they aren't, that flash in the pan and we never see them again because they're actually not that good. These guys, they have the humility to when they get to first grade, go, actually, I'm when I go back down to cup, it's not, oh, okay, I'm in cup now. I can just play, I can beat these guys because it's easy. They're actually hey, look, we're gonna work on what we need to work on. We're going to play the way we need to play so that we can get into this first team.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's massive, boys. Let's just go. Let's stick in the kind of realms of the future. Where will we finish? Maybe I'll start off. I mean, I'm definitely pushing for a top 2. I value the top 2 massively, or even maybe the third position. Fourth, a little bit tricky. Second and third, 1, 2, 3 is okay because maybe 2 and 3 you can, if you win that game away, you take 1 to 4. Sometimes always seems a bit tricky. When we played Penrith from the 4th position, that was a tough one, and we beat the Knights, and then you got robbed by the NFL pass interference. But but you know what I mean. I really want to push for that top 2, or even a 3. That's And it's possible, and I'm not being disrespectful. We know the NRL is a tough comp. Every team on their days beatable. But you're looking at the opposition we've got coming against us. They are majority in the bottom at the moment. Not to say we're going to win it, but you should go in confident feeling we should get this. But Ash, where do you kind of see us? Do you see us maybe dropping out? Maybe things will catch up with us, or what's your thoughts?
No, I've honestly, bro, I really think that we're definitely in that 1 to 4 range. It's just really willing on where we can sit you to other, situations, right? The Raiders keep on doing what they're doing. I think they're going to be a tough beat at the moment. They're at 11 wins. The Dogs are at 10. It's only due to buyers that they're sitting underneath them. So if they continue on their hot little run, which I'm kind of seeing the Raiders, they're playing incredible footy. But as Josh and I said, I still look at these other sides too and just be hey, we can be right there with them. I reckon if Full Strike Warriors versus Full full strength Raiders, I reckon we can take it to these guys. So I'd say 1-4 for sure. If you want me to nail down a number, I'm probably going to say land about third place. I think that will.
Yeah.
I think the Melbourne Storm will probably come home strong because Craig Bellamy will whip him into gear. But this is only just wishful thinking in that sort of sense, because Melbourne have shown very up and down moments this year as well, as we've all seen this year. So as majority of this competition. So honestly, bro, I think we have an opportunity to maybe even sneak a minor premiership if we can. Like if people really want it that way, there's an opportunity there if we just keep on keeping on. But at the moment, I'm going to sit us about third, and then just really, cheer the boys on from there.
Yeah, Josh, man, what are you thinking?
Yeah, minor prem's just nice and easy. No. No. I think, look, I don't know if the Bulldogs will stay where they are. I think the Bulldogs are showing cracks. I think obviously there's parts of their game which are, so tight and so, this is how they play, and it's, down to Ciraldo coming from that, Penrith line and bringing half the Penrith team with them. I do see top 4 easily. I think with our run home, I can't see us falling out. I can't see us losing too many more games this year either. I think, like you said, the Storm will come home strong. They always do. They always get, it gets to the finals and it's like, oh, the Storm are there again. Here we go. Yeah. Somehow every final game seems to be played, and every prelim seems to happen in Melbourne once a year. Yeah. I'd like to say second. I'd like to push us for second. I think, to me, I think the Raiders might a premiership.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got the buys for the rest of the season. I think they're having the first buy this weekend, which is crazy.
Much, yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, they've had a great run.
And they've been playing great. So I mean, if we have a look at the run home for both of those teams, I think it's pretty simple. Whereas like with the Bulldogs, it seems like now they're facing the bit more of the tougher teams. They come up against us again, or for the first time in the year, in round 23 or something like that. And they come up against the Storm. They come up against these teams they haven't had to face so far this year. I think they faced the Eels twice, the Titans twice. All these teams sitting near the bottom, and it's hey, we parade that we won by 15 or won by 20 against them, when in reality they're bit easy beat. So it'll be interesting to see them with a bit of a tougher draw. And for that, I think I have them slipping to third. I think they'll still play pretty well. But I'd love to see us at home in a first round game against them.
Yeah, that's it.
And I think the thing with the Dogs too, just quickly, with their run in, I think Ciraldo's said many times that he's learnt off of last year and how the Dogs ran off, run out a little bit of steam towards the end of the season and didn't really prepare for that final series properly. I think there is an opportunity where they might tail off just a tad. He probably won't say it in that sort of sense because obviously they've got a culture of just continuing on. But I think, some of the Spartans coaches like Ivan Cleary's and stuff like that, they've kind of tailed off a little bit, got everyone ready. Craig Bellamy's well known for that and get him into the finals. So, as I said, that gives us all the opportunity to finish somewhere within that top 4, which, from the year to start off when I said top 8 is a very high, or hopefully a possibility to this is crazy.
Yeah, bro. No, it's and I think, to be fair, we're looking at it from an actual logical, we're not being happy-go-lucky predicting, we're going to get, we're actually nailing this on and thinking, no, the teams beat everyone they're supposed to beat if they're a legit team. Yep, had a tight one against the Raiders, which was a great battle. Storm, that's the only one. We know that history and we need to get over that, but everything else is okay, well, we're doing the business. So I'm with you guys, bro. Absolutely. Just want to quickly get into our brother, Lexi, man. Good to see you, brother. It's been a while, man, but I know you've been busy with life, and welcome back, man. And please, brother, jump on our Discord. We kind of transitioned from the WhatsApp space. We're in the Discord now. We can help you get that. It's in the community post as well, the steps to how to get your Discord up and running. But, man, it's great to have you back, brother. And appreciate you for joining back in. But, yeah, come drop in the Discord for sure. And Levon James, Hopefully this helps towards the grand final tickets. Yeah, bro, that'll be my pie on the way to the. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, you're a legend, brother. You're a legend. Hey, we all got to go, bro. So I'll put that money away. I'll put it back on the tickets. We all go together. How's that sound?
100%.
Bro, I started saving after I think round 3 when we beat the Roosters. I was like, all right, I got to get serious now.
Yeah.
And then after round 4 against the Storm, I went, oh, never mind.
Nah, bro, do it, man. It's a great. I'll just quickly do. I'll get to this. Any of you guys, if you want to take this one, do you guys shout out Luke Adams? Do you guys going to issue and go into the finals that we haven't beaten a top 4 side yet? Would love you to pick this apart. Anyone can.
Well, like on that point, like depending on what we classify, so top 4 right now, yeah, 100%. Obviously, we haven't played the Dogs, and Melbourne and the Raiders have beaten us. But during the season, last time I was running numbers and stuff, the Manly Seagulls were top 4 when we beat them. When they were running hot to start. I know the second game of the season, but they were top 4 and they were supposed to smoke us by 50 that game, and it didn't happen. The Tigers, the Tigers were top 8. The Broncos were a top 4 side. I'm pretty sure a top 8 side around that period when we were beating them as well. So I think there was a couple of top 4 wins that we got. I ran the numbers earlier on the season, so I was just trying to check on my phone if I have it back up. Yeah. But there was a couple of teams that we beat when they were in top 4 form that we end up peeling them off. But if you're talking about the Raiders and the Melbourne Storm, yeah, obviously when it comes crunch time, I think we've given 2 good performances against not 2, but 1 good performance against the Raiders, Ed, where it makes it look like, well, I reckon in full strength, I reckon we could take it to the Raiders for sure on their day. The Melbourne Storm on their day is always going to be a tough beat for the Warriors, and I think it's a tough beat for any team in the competition. But I think the Dogs, I reckon we can compete with the Dogs for sure. I really do.
Yeah. Josh, anything on that one?
Yeah. Oh, just a short one. Like, I think by the time we get to finals and into the top 4, we'll have already beaten the Dogs as well. So that'll be pretty good, to go in and feel pretty confident about that. So.
Yeah, I think the Melbourne ones, it's only tricky because you know what you're coming up against, and you know what they're going to do. You just have to be very I go back to Sean 2011. You need to have a clutch moment. I think we've got halves. I think Metcalf could pull something off. I think if they got in that situation again in a finals moment, I can see our boys delivering. I do. I really do. And you actually have to approach the Storm with no fear. You have to you have to believe. It's a mentality thing. So, but I've got no issue personally, Luke. But great question, bro. Really do 100%. Appreciate that. Boys, yeah, shout out Lexi, man. Yep, good to see you, brother. Yeah, absolutely, man. Okay, let's get into now. Just quickly on this, we'll keep this one quick. Next 4, Panthers, Broncos, Tigers, Knights. Panthers starting to pick up again. Any fears on the Panthers and how they're tracking, or is it you think we should be playing them at home? We should go all right. What do you reckon, Ash?
Yeah, I'm still not fully convinced on the Panthers just yet. 2 good wins, obviously getting back on the winning track for the Penrith Panthers, but very close ones. The Eels obviously are close. The Eels are starting to kick back into form. And last weekend, I'm still not seeing the same Panthers what we've seen before. And hopefully, obviously, next weekend they bring out the old school Panthers on us for sure. But I'm looking at it as like, oh, okay, they're definitely beatable. We've done very well against the Panthers in the past anyway, under Webby's tenure anyway. The Magic Round game that we had where we barely had anyone on that football field, that was touching first grade, and we ended up getting a good win there. So I think we can definitely take it to those guys. The other games you're talking about there, the Broncos, I reckon that's a really good battle if they kick into form. The West Tigers, I reckon we can definitely take it to the West Tigers. We've done it earlier in the season, and the Tigers are kind of in that stage at the moment, losing Lockie Galvin, a lot of media around the club. And the Newcastle Knights, just right now, they're unfortunately, it seems like the energy is getting soaked out of that. A good win over the weekend for the Knights, but I just don't know about the Knights. I still don't know about the Knights.
Yeah, agree. Josh, what are your thoughts on that next 4?
Yeah, I'm always wary with the Panthers. I think it's just the name, right? You've seen them win the last 4 comps in a row. Could have won the last 5. But they do fly over here, and their Origin players aren't coming. They won't have Edwards, Cleary, or Yo, unless something else happens. And I think, did Lindsay Smith make it in as well? Do we know about that or not?
Yeah, he was extended squad from memory, but I'm not sure injury will push that, so he'll be back.
He'll come across. But those 3 players, when you list off the Panthers' 3 best players, they're all probably going to be gone, which makes me a bit nervous because like what happened at Magic Round last year, we snuck up on them with our players out, with our boys out, and so I don't know. I'd like to say it's a win. I'm confident in our boys. Obviously, we probably won't have capes, but we'll be pretty sorted. The one I'm most worried about is the Broncos game at Suncorp. We've had the Broncos number this year, but Suncorp is a place. We've been pretty lucky this year in the way we've played. We've done pretty well there. But yeah, I don't know. The Broncos may be turning a corner. It'll be interesting to see their next game, kind of how they play, and then how they reintegrate Reece Walsh into the side. And then to me, the Tigers and Knights should be all right games. I think we'll coast through those.
Yeah.
Hopefully not coast. Hopefully it'll be more of a more of a win.
I know what you mean.
Like an easy win, but I don't want to say easy win because
What would that put us on if we won those 4? That would put us on 34 points. What are we on now? 24, 20. 24 after the bye, so 26, 28, 30, 30.
32 plus another bye in there as well. So 34. Yep.
Ash, just check this back at you. Do you think? Remember our 2023 run? We did start to fade a little bit on the back end.
Yep.
Do you think that will have some of those tricky kind of niggles, injuries, tiredness kind of come through again, or do you think we're a little bit more prepared for this particular run?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of variables that can come into effect. But the thing is, going off of the history that showed this year in general, our away form is 5-2. I heard it on a show just recently, 5-2. But if you take away the Vegas game, which was an away game as well, we're 5-1, and we've pretty much won nearly every game in Sydney. So it shows that we can travel, and we've done it fairly well. We traveled for the last couple of weeks thinking there was going to be a drop off, and fortunately, the boys have just continued to hold a really high standard, and I think Fish and that at the club has probably held that high standard all the way through. When you're looking at tough games like the Panthers and that, even though at Auckland, there was a nice comment before, I think Fish is going to really take that one personal to go up against Moses Leota and the Panthers again, to try and take it to them. And then just our run home, we got we go Auckland, then we travel, we go Auckland, and then we travel. So there's a lot of periods where we are getting on the plane, off the plane. But as I said before, history has showed this year that we got the ability to do so. And I think Webby's learnt a lot of lessons from last year, as he's pointed out a couple of times around travel and how we're going to sort that out. Because from memory, this year when we had our 3 away games straight, I think it was, or 3 or 4, the boys travelled back and forth from New Zealand to Australia through those periods because he learnt that it was a little bit easier for the boys than what it was to stay over there away from family. So I think that we're in good stead to hold up our form. And these young kids that are stepping up are taking over these older boys' spots that are maybe their body's getting a little bit beaten. If they're able to overtake those boys as well, I think the boys can hold consistency.
Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. Hey, shout out to Luke Adams, man. Thank you for becoming a YouTube member. We're grateful to have you in here, man, for sure. And I did see this quick question. Maybe just do one or two words for how much would you offer Metcalf to keep Metcalf into the team? Ash?
850 to $1 million.
850 to $1 million. Josh?
I was going to say 750 and 950, in that range.
Yeah. Can we lowball with a 5? No, I'm just kidding. Hey, Luke, man, we'll hook you up with a house. And
But I think Levon James as well he'll chuck some
Yeah.
money in to chuck
Yeah,
another
yeah,
five.
we'll chuck that money back in. Yeah. We'll put it back in the pot, bro, for sure. Oh,
Hey,
nah,
I'll
man.
give him SJ's podcast as well. He can.
Yeah,
He can
800 in a podcast.
Yeah.
Yo. I love it, bro. No, I love it, people. Yeah, I think that's the ballpark range, like minimum. You know, that is the range that you want to go for someone of his talent. Okay, guys. I was going to do bold predictions. We'll leave it till the end after we've talked. We might talk ourselves into something massive, like landing on the moon or something like that. Let's do our tier
I believe
list.
in this team.
I believe. Let's get our tier list going again. We'll break this down for everyone that is new to this, but we did this for last year. We did actually mid-season the year before, and we noticed that there wasn't enough columns, so we needed to differentiate a bit more. So we've got a few more here. You see, amazing season, great season, very good season, average season, poor season, very poor season, horrible season. So just thinking of this season up to this point, pretty much. Yep. And then we'll just put them in there, and then we'll recategorize which player has been better than each player in that level.
Sweet.
Does that sound good?
Sweet.
Okay. Now we'll just start it off with mainly. We'll start with the young, and we'll just work our way going to the old. I haven't done it in any type of like fullback wing type structure, but we'll start with Liquor. Where do we look? Far out. It's absolutely. It's a great one to start off with, and it's a good one to set a marker of what we think his season has been. Josh, where do you think? Where would you have him for now? And we'll readjust as we kind of get a bit of picture of like what. But for you, is it amazing season? Is like we had Barney as what was it the Simon Mannering medalist for last year, or someone that's maybe in a Dally M type push. But wherever you feel, whatever you feel for you is.
Yeah. Just is it like going against the other players, or is it like our expectations of him?
I just think from their own performance, not I suppose against other players in their team. It's just sort of them individually. Like, have they had an amazing season or so far, or is it a great season? To
me, I'd probably put Liquor around the great season.
Yep.
I think like obviously he's solidified that starting spot, other than a couple of little blips here and there. I think he's one of the ones that we thought kind of by this time of the season that if he wasn't pushing or if he wasn't solid in the team, that it'd be a little bit disappointing. And I mean Ash at the start of the year, I'm talking about him, taking that starting spot, and so I think that's a key factor of the great season for me. Like if we're readjusting our team to put Capewell in the centers, that to me speaks great season for Liquor.
You in the same range, Ash?
Yeah, I'll sit on a great season to amazing, right? Like I think that he'll probably win our rookie of the year. I'll sit with him in a great because I think it's a good little baseline overall. But he'll probably win our rookie of the year this year. He played a couple of games last year, but he's still be in contention in my mind anyway for rookie of the year this year for our club. He stepped up. He's put his name up in lights now. Everyone knows what they're going to get with Leka Lasima. And I think over years to come, we'll end up seeing him grow in these performances and that. I think that he's shown impact now from not just off the bench, but also an 80-minute role. It's a very different sort of impact, but it's exactly what he needs to learn how to grow into a first grader. So very, very good season, a great season. And there's definitely, a bit of room to grow there. By the end of the season, I can see him an amazing season if he continues on this track.
What is the actual criteria for a rookie of the year? Because he played last year. Is it a set minimum of games, or how does?
I think it's 5. I think it's 5 games from memory. So we'll double check that.
He'll be fine.
Within the year that you're going to be rookie of the year, you would have had to only have played 5 games previously. Is that right? Something like that.
I'm just going to double check that now.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's over if it's just last year. Like say if he played 1 game last year and
he played 1 or 2 last year.
Sure if he qualifies again.
who is eligible for Rookie of the Year? So players eligible for Rookie of the Year in their debut season or the sequential NRL seasons. Once a player played 5 NRL Premiership games, he becomes ineligible for Rookie of the Year in that season. So last year,
Yeah, cool.
I think he only played.
He didn't play the World
two-
game,
one.
didn't it?
Bulldogs,
Maybe one
yeah.
or two. He got injured after the Bulldogs, wasn't it? Or the I can't remember.
Yeah. So he played 4 games last year.
Oh, nice.
And then he's now played 13 this year. So he'll be eligible for Rookie of the Year this year.
Bro, that's fantastic. And I don't think we've had a Rookie of the Year, have we, in our history? I think SJ. Oh no, they probably gave it to Cherry Evans that year.
Yeah, SJ came in halfway through the year. I'm pretty
He came
sure.
in halfway through the year, just far out. That's such a shame. SJ would have definitely won that, I reckon.
I reckon he would have gone close anyway.
Yeah. He would
Adam
have.
Reynolds did. I'm trying to think of
Yeah.
But with Lecker, his other contenders in that position, Tamale's been thrown up in the chat. Unfortunately, Tamale's gone down with an injury that may hold him out for a long period of time.
I saw the videos of he's doing the monoways and he's
sad ones. Savage, bro.
Savage,
But shout out to Tamale. Hope he's all good overall. We're not all Warriors fans hate you, my brother. Obviously, in that moment, we all hated you. But I think Lecker can push it, bro, for sure. I think now with that, I think he's definitely front runner.
Yeah, and look, that would definitely maybe by the end of this year, we're talking amazing season, Rookie of the Year, 10 plus tries. Once you break it down, he's probably trending on that buzz. Okay, let's go to Laban, man. Again, he kind of had his moment just recently for me, kind of the Sharks, and he's been that kind of in and out type of guy. Last year he had a few games, Titans, and that. Now he's actually legit. Really, just legit from what I've seen. Ashfield, you have Laban. He probably sits under Lecker, obviously. Is he in the very good or is he in the good so far? Maybe he's preparing for a very good. What would you say?
Yeah, at the moment, I'm going to go a good, and not to say that his performances have been very good or great or anything like that.
Yeah.
I think just as he's only been in our team a couple of times this year, but every time he stepped up really, really well. Like that last game against the Sharks, man, with the minutes that he had, incredible. The Dolphins game he had, so these all come in very close proximity to each other. So it shows he's turned a corner, in my opinion. I think defensively he's probably the most impressive part of his game for me right now. He's putting on massive shots, and I think I first saw this in the Multi All-Star game, where he started to really work on his defense, and it's really
that was a good point.
Yeah, Laban's really stepped up in that area, and now coming to this year when he's jumped in, he's proven that tenfold. So I think right now good has the potential with more games that under his belt. He can get very good for sure. Especially K-Bell going to Origin. I'm sure that man's going to be chasing that other edge back row jersey for sure.
Yeah, you feel confident with that good evaluation, Josh?
Yeah. I'd say as Ash was saying, we could see him by the end of the year get into that very good very easily.
Yeah, sweet. Okay, that's great, and a great young talent. Tanner Smith, a similar, probably had less. He's only had 2 games. For me, has been seamless. Not a drop off, not a I love to see when guys come on, you don't see much difference in their work rate, and for me, he's been. I'd probably have him in the good, or you could probably say I don't average is a bad kind of sense, but he's only played very few games. He might be at the bottom of a good list once we do it. Is that fair, or what would you guys say, Josh? Anything on Tanner?
Yeah. Well, to me, he's it's hard because he's played 2 games, right?
Yeah,
but
he's played 2 games.
Like you said, I think the best thing about a rookie prop is, like you said, when they come in, you just don't notice them, and that's not a bad thing. It's that you see there's no drop off, or very minimal drop off. He performs as well as a starting forward, and we don't have that noticeable dip. And so look, it's hard to put someone in good when they've only had 2 games. But I mean, he's been playing fantastic in Cup as well.
Are we? I was just thinking, should we put him in good? Is he going to be? Do you think he'll stay in good for the rest of the year, or will he go up to very good by the end of the year, based on playing opportunities? Because that will determine where. Like, I want to kind of sit him in the place where he's either having an average season working into a good season, or maybe he's sitting in a good season with potential for very good. You know what I mean? What's your thoughts?
I think he's had really good impacts to start. Like, that Dolphins game, as soon as he came on, I thought, like, he was like a really big player for us in the middle defensively. And, like, I think that we can put him for good at the moment because every performance that he's had at the moment for me has been good, like good. And then, like,
Yes.
I feel like the longer we get to see him, maybe he can jump into a very good if he has a breakout game and that sort of sense, right? I think these are very good players. Is like, we're going to see like a step up into like, all right, they've had this big moment for us this year, and that where I feel like he's been he's been good for us.
Yeah, I'd agree with. I think we all agree on that. They keep him in good with potential to either be a really solid good or go into very good. Yeah, average is quite. That's a quite. That's a tough label based on how everyone's performing this year. We might not. We might see very few drop down to there. Dimitri, man. Shivers. After that performance, you're thinking you wanna go in the very good range for me. Yeah, and even his opportunities, he's had kind of limited opportunities, but actually he's done well. And I think that he was building to that performance on Saturday. I might have him in the very good, or I might have him in the good, working towards a very good. What would you guys have? Ash, I'll start with you, and then
I'm willing to chuck him straight into the very good. I think that he has potential to have a great season. I think he's actually been overshadowed by the superstar of Lecker. And like, which is like, when you see Lecker, you see these incredible explosive efforts. But like, it's not that Dimitri doesn't have that, because Dimitri is just as explosive in any sense that, but because he's more so in the middle, as Josh said, sometimes, people, when they're watching their footy, they kind of lose sight maybe of the middle, and the middle gets a little bit messy. And so at the end of the game, you check your stats and go, oh yeah, all right. Like Adam Fanor-Blake used to be like that, where he was just like running for 200 meters. You noticed Adam Fanor-Blake, but everyone around Adam was just like, oh yeah, they had an all right game, right? Dimitrik's in that sort of vein of like, Lecker and all that are stepping up, and they're having these big boom moments and tries and that, even though now Dimitrik's having those moments too. But I think that every moment that we had in there, key offloads that he's had in this season, that Rabbitohs game, he changed a lot of the momentum in the game when he came on too. The Sharks game was his big standout game for sure. Even preview to that, I think, defensively he's been rock solid. Only a couple of moments that we saw this year, like the Tigers game, where we were like, oh, you need to fix up a little bit. But yeah, very good for me, bro, and has potential to go great.
Yeah. Josh, same as you, man?
Yeah, no. Well, first of all, I bet all the like NRL commentators are annoyed that he changed his name from Sifakula to Vei Mayunga.
Yeah, I know.
I forgot his name was Sifakula. I was like trying to figure out what his old last name was. I'm just Vaimonga now, you know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, honestly,
they butchered that name, eh?
The
Vaimayuga. Yeah.
The awful part of him having such an amazing season is you hear his name being butchered so many times.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Just start calling him Dimitri.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly. But no, he's been fantastic. I think like in shifting momentum, like we used to, rely on Walker to come on and kind of change the momentum of the game and be able to provide a little bit of silk in the middle, where like Aaron Clark has obviously been, one of our standouts this year and kind of taken that role. But the way Dimitri has come on and has just played like that extra little energy spark that we've needed has been fantastic. So I think very good is easily where he should be.
Perfect. Let's go now to Ali Leatoa. I know injuries has forced our bro to probably, and injuries. Let's be honest and take injuries out where we can. and not
Mhm.
impact the actual on-field performances. Josh, where would you have Ali's performances on the field at the games he's played, and where would you sit him?
Oh, this is so tricky. I think he's probably for me in the good. I think he's had some performances where it's kind of been like, oh, we really needed this, and this guy has been, exactly what we need in our centers. And like he started the season like real hot,
He started hot.
and it was great the way he was playing. And then he kind of got moved over to the left side when Rocco came back in and didn't have the same impact. And then he got hurt and came back. And after he came back, it just didn't seem like he was as good as he was at the start of the year. And I mean, you see that now with him playing down in Cup. And I think he's battling an injury at the moment as well. And so, like, I'm happy, putting him in good. I think he's been good. He's just like obviously working on his defense now, and like you think back to that Raiders game, and that was a poor miss on that tackle, but he's been solid most of the season. So happy to put him in good there.
Yep, Ash, good for you as well.
Yeah, definitely agree with all the sentiments. I think early season was looking like a very good season. At the moment, it's just teetering off to a good season due to injuries coming into his game. Unfortunately, that's kind of like what's really happening. I think that's why the performances haven't been to the highest standard to start the season, right? When he's fit, ready to go, looks incredible, looks like a guy that, is obviously going to be one of our best centers for a long period of time, right? But I think that, he's just got to get himself fit again. A couple of things he needs to tweak in his game, and he'd get back in and has the potential to finish the season very, very strong if he is able to do so.
Yep. Yeah, no, good shout there. The Sam Healy, like an amazing season, man. No, look, it's only early days, but you could build a lot off of his Cup performances too. But to have that, that performance, even his performance against, was it who did we play at Magic? Well, he was, but he was great. He was great in that off the bench. Mm-hmm. That one, bro, was whoa. You just saw the speed. I was so impressed with him. Is it one of those early ones where you want to kind of put him in good and work into very good, or I mean, and he's kind of battling it with TMM and that whole situation with Egan. It's kind of really tough to kind of evaluate him. I mean, I would probably pitch him at a very good rate if he was playing, I would have him at very good. Just from I can see from the talent and what I would say. Where would you guys have him? Ash, yeah.
I'm right there with you actually. Like, performances that he's had out there, he's had just instant impact. Like, I think when people actually watch Cup and get to see the impact that he has on our Cup side, it's like it's night and day. Like, this kid's got all the potential in the world to do what he did over the weekend with the Sharkies. At late notice, jumping in for Wade Egan's jersey, that was such a big key piece to our spine to do that. The quick thing I want to touch on too is people don't understand that there is actually a big jump from Cup to first grade. There is a big jump. People don't really understand how big of a jump it actually is. For him to have the same tackle break ability, the same instincts that he does have, and find the same moments that he has in Cup and do it in first grade is a major positive in his favour. Like, I would have thought that he caught the markers offside, out of square a couple of times in that game that didn't get called. And if it was able to get called, you would have seen line break central even more than what he actually had in the game. So at the moment, that first stint that he had in that Sharks game is just like, oh my God, we got one here.
Yeah. Josh, you're in the same vein as us. I'd go very good right now.
Yeah, absolutely. He's there. I think I wanna back up what Ash was saying about Cup as well. Like, he has been killing it in Cup. Yeah. He has been like the reason we are far and away the best team in Cup. Like, we have Tanner Boyd and we have, we had Tamati Martin running around at the start of the year, but Sam Healy has just provided such a massive piece of a point of attack for that Cup side. Okay. And I don't know. I just do not know, firstly, how the Sharks let him go. But secondly, how when he was over there, he was coming off the bench for Jacob Beryl, like
Mm.
in the cup side. Like, it doesn't make sense. He is just like, he is going to be an incredible player, and like someone who I hope becomes a Warrior for life just because of how like great he has been. And if he gets more chances this year, like, that very good's going to be a bit of an understatement, I think.
Do you know what he gives me the same feel of, bro? When I first saw him, it reminds me. Remember when Nathaniel Roach stepped on the scene?
Mm.
He
Yeah.
had the same big body size. As soon as he chose to run, it was just damaging, like every time. But unfortunately, Nathaniel, with his injuries, just wasn't able to keep that up for a long period. This kid, bro, he's got very similar feel to him, like, as a Nathaniel Roach. And hopefully he can hit a potential that unfortunately Nathaniel wasn't able to do so. Because I think every Warriors fan, when they saw Nathaniel Roach, was like, brother, this guy's for real. Sam's in that same sort of mold. So, 6'1" hooker that hits like a truck and runs like a truck. Bruh, we got a good one there.
Bro, like what I actually loved about him, bro, is like he was doing those like carries and runs, and then he'd get the offload away.
Yeah.
He'd go into contact, and like they couldn't quite grab him, and he'd get the offload away. And he's tall too, he can, offload for me is like the key is you actually have to have the strength, but you also have to have like, it's kind of like boxing out someone or posting someone up in basketball. You have to be able to have the space to release the offload. And I was really impressed with just his overall game, the defensive, and he's solid defensively too. He's got that upper body structure to kind of wrap the tackler up at first contact. Yeah. I was massive, absolutely massive. Just like Sam Healy, bro. Strictly giving out 5 Wires Up TV memberships, man. If you any of you in there, show some love for Strictly, please. For
so
gifting
good.
those memberships. Must have been because we put Liquor at a great season. He must have been so pumped on Strictly. We love you, brother. Yeah, Strictly off the back fence, bro. He's going crazy tonight. You must have put Liquor amazing season. What do you say, Strictly?
Chuck him in there, baby. And lastly, before we jump off Healy too, like, massive shout out to the club. As Josh kind of pointed out, it is crazy when we look at it now, and the Sharks letting go a kid that has this talent. But for the Warriors to pick him out, especially with the limited game time that he did have, and Jaden Beryl that's playing for him, he's an incredible hooker that came from Queensland Cup. He was the best Queensland Cup hooker that we had, went to the Sharks, and everyone was like, well, he might get around Brayley's spot or this and that. And people weren't looking at what they had underneath with this kid, Sam Healy. But the Warriors saw him. And, that's a massive key for our recruitment team to be like, they saw Jaden Beryl, then they saw this young kid off the bench and go, actually, this young kid has a little bit more about him. We're going to hunt this kid down because there's opportunity there. That's a massive tick in our favor.
Bro, hard up. Absolutely hard up. Tane, the Pain 2-0 picky, the man. I love this kid, man. I for his performances on the wing, everything that he, the player that he is, and he gets diminished for physically being diminished in terms of his size, but you can't break the character of this guy and what he's been able to be for us. I got him in the very good, definitely, comfortably. His impact is massive, even with Dallin coming back, and Dallin's building his game. But you can obviously you could argue that Tane was massive in all those games that we won during his run. But chuck it back at Josh. Where do you have Tane in your thoughts?
Yeah, well, it's hard. Like, obviously the wing isn't his spot. And we know that that's something that that is so evident in his size and the way he plays the game. And you see when he every time he was on the wing, there wasn't that first instinct to go for the corner. It was to cut back inside and find that back on the inside, which is a fullback. That's what a fullback does. I think when he was on the wing, he played with such a I don't know. It was he was bigger than he was. He played bigger.
That's a good point.
Like he was so strong, so able to he'd break through tackles. I remember, I think it was in the Manly game in round 2, he was outstanding, and he was the try he scored where he cut back on the inside and sliced through, like that's what we see in Tane, and I think he's going to be great. I think there were a couple of blotches in his performance this year, but I mean you think about the Storm game, but then again everyone had a pretty poor game, and he was going up against Xavier Coates, which isn't really like the easiest thing for a 5'0" winger to go up against. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm with you, Levon. I'm happy to chuck him up there.
Yep. Ash, anything else?
Nah, pretty much echoing your thoughts, guys. Like, yeah, as I said, he's not a winger, but that's why I give him a lot more props, for doing what he did. The whole story is, when he was sitting on the bench when Dallin went down in the preseason, he's looking at Sio Carli to go on there. He goes, "Get ready, Sio." And they looked at it, he's like, "Nah, brother, you're going on." He's like, "Oh, what?" And he reckons for the first 10 minutes of that game, he was like just playing around until like, Tane, lock in. And he locked in and he scored a try, and obviously, and the rest is history. We learned that he could play on the wing and he could do a job there. So, his performances, bro, unbelievable for his size, just the way he seems to scheme around the park, get post-contact meters, just by his, ball deception, right? He shows the ball in front of defenders. They don't know where he's going to go, right foot, left foot. Great player. So very, very good. And there's still opportunity for him to come in again this season with injuries and stuff like that this year. So has the ability to be a great season if there was to end the season as a fullback, depending on how things go. Keep an eye out. But he's a fullback out and out, and people should understand that. But he has the ability that he can play wing if we are short again, and he can do so.
Just want to make a point, actually. I've got a lot of respect for Tane and his defensive movements, and especially the timing of his jam runs. And if you actually think about it, being on the edge in those positions where you're 3-on-2 or you're short, it's actually not about your size. It's actually about where do you put the pressure and when do you make that pressure on the out the back. Or so in that sense, for me personally, he's been better than Dallin in those situations. Yeah. And then your other argument, obviously, is Dallin with the finishing and the size, his yardage carries. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking specifically about knowing your defensive cues, when to jam, when not to. And I just think he's been absolutely awesome in that space, Unless you're Georgie Tafua, then, it doesn't matter. For me, it doesn't matter, like, as long as you're jamming the right guy at the right time to force the tricky pass. Like, you're doing your job, bro. So, that's kind of how I see. But just quickly, man, shout out Southside, man. Everyone's going crazy tonight, bro. I appreciate it, bro. Hey, we appreciate
the appearance fee.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out everyone.
No one can just go straight through.
Yeah, go straight through with direct debit. Yeah.
Thanks, Southside.
I love to everyone, man. Love to everyone, and really do appreciate that. Okay, let's go now. Rocco Berry. I'll check this one at you, Ash. Considering all of the situation, and where do you put Rocco based on his on-field? We'll go similar to Ali. Focus on the on-field performances when they've been on the field. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if it's just focusing on the on-field, I'll probably sway him like average to good when he's been out there. I think he's been trying to work back to his fitness levels, and I think we got to see a little bit of him getting back to that with the Rabbitohs game, and unfortunately falling back out due to injury, right? So taking injury out of that sort of question, when we've seen him out there field, I think the Rabbitohs game for me was probably his best game this year. Just some of the moments he was finding himself into and that. So I would be leaning, I would probably say at best right now, good season. Just due to obviously him, every time he's jumped into a jersey, he's still working back to his fitness and he's showed really good moments, but obviously it's just not been Rocco Berry of 2023 just yet from what we've seen.
Yeah. You agree with that, Josh? I think that's pretty safe.
Yeah, look, Rocco is probably my favorite player. I think like he typifies what we need in our system. And to me, he has been below what we expect of him this year. However, the thing that to me, I'm happy to put him in the good. But he just has he finished a game this year?
Yeah, it's been tough.
He's been he's been riddled with injuries this year, and it's been real tough. And So like I'm yeah happy to have him in good
Yeah.
because when he's on the park, he's good and he's exactly
Yeah.
what we need. But I feel so sorry for him. He's just like he can't catch a break.
Yeah.
He can definitely catch a ball on a hard line,
Yeah.
but he can't catch a break from these injuries, man. Like it's
tough.
so tough to see. But the way he just gets back up and plays on
Keeps going.
like he had blood streaming out of his head twice this season.
He's been cut up.
Bro, like I don't know how he does it. Every time I see blood, I'm like, all right, get me off the field. Like I'm out. Like I'm out for the season.
Yeah.
But he's a hard nosed boy, and having him in the good for when he's been able to play is I'm fine with that.
Do you think with
fair,
that,
eh?
look, we might be? Did you want to? I know it sounds a little bit harsh, but maybe drop to an average and then see how he ends off the season with it as a good. Like, because there is like aspects to it where it's like it has been, where he hasn't actually finished out a game, looked very good, and it's not on like just on the like when he's there, he's good. But if you take the every little aspect, it has been an average season from what we've been hoping for Rocco this season.
Yeah, I think that's fair, and I think we're calculating that he's going to end up having a good season by the time he gets healthy.
Yep.
And I think you can only. I would argue good season from because of on field, but you're probably saying average because he actually hasn't been able. Like he's done his job, like defensively, all those things. He actually hasn't had the time to show his good attributes in full. You know what I mean? So I
Agreed.
and it's not a diminishing. Average isn't like a diminishing thing, but it's like when you take it into account, I'd probably say, yeah, that's currently with his injuries and what he's been able to do, he's quite sitting in that zone right now, which I think is fine as well. Yep.
Where like on the opposite hand, like let's say Ali Leotar, to start the season, he's shown very high up end, and then the injury kind of brought him back to the pace a little bit. That's what gave him a good season. Where Rocco, he's had really good moments, just we haven't seen enough of it to see the better and better moments, right?
That's where the injuries do come into play a little bit. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Well, and I think because also we compare him to 2023 Rocco. Like Ali, we didn't really have a comparison so far. Like for that first stretch of the season, like that was his best stretch of NRL football we've had.
Agreed.
Whereas Rocco, like that 2023 season, like he brained it, and so like this year has been a little bit on the disappointing side. But like he's been what we need of him when he's been on the field. But the fact that he hasn't properly finished a game yet has kind of dragged him down a bit. Yeah, he might have finished one, but.
Just want to shout out Isaac here, off topic, but remember it's not weak to speak up, legend. This is for everyone, boys and girls. It's okay to have off days. Yeah,
Love that, Isaac.
Let's appreciate that, man. And look, we all have them for sure, man. And speak up, whatever your channels are. For some, it's church. Some, it's other, close friends. For some, it's here, And we want to show love to you, Isaac, and anyone that in the chat that may be feeling that.
Agreed.
We want to make Wise Up TV a space where, we talk footy, but at its core and heart, we're here just to hang out and be mates. You know what I mean? Like we're here for each other. And if we're having a rough day, we can share that. So we appreciate that. And I was just speaking to actually Josh on the share if he's come back to work and he's probably wants to have another couple off days.
Before I went away, I had some time off last week after King's birthday, and before I went away, I went, yep, Josh, when he gets back, he's going to be like refreshed, on board, and ready to go, so he can do all of the stuff that I'm leaving him. And then I got back and I just hated myself. I couldn't believe I did that to myself. How dare I? And so work has been tough, but it's funny actually, off topic but at youth group this Friday, I'm actually speaking on mental health as well. So it's quite like a cool timing there.
No, shout out to you, bro. And just quickly before we jump off too, like, massive shout out to Levon. Like people don't know, like, how key, like I've had some things, in my personal life go on this year, and he's been so supportive in all those aspects. So this is like a massive shout out to Levon, and whenever I get to talk to Josh, he's open ears as well. So just big shout out to these boys. And as I said, like with this channel, it's not just talking footy. Hopefully with these hour and a half, 2 hours, but you can shut your brain off for the outside world and talk with your mates. But I just wanted a massive shout out in that moment there too, because it's great to bring up like people that are there in the tough moments of life.
Yeah. Shout Isaac for that. That was such a cool moment.
Yeah, bro. That's mean, bro. It was just funny. It's a funny one. You know, I was watching this TikTok and this guy was saying, why is it that the day before you have the day off is always better than the actual day off?
I know.
your day before you go on your day off, it works fantastic. But then the actual day off, you're like, crap, I got to go back to work tomorrow.
I know.
Bro, that like Sunday afternoon blues as well, where you're like, you're like, I got to like get up tomorrow morning. And,
nothing worse.
Bro, hard out, man. No, absolutely. Well, that's why we've got footy, man.
Man.
So this week's going to be a tough one. We've got nothing to kind of enjoy, but make sure we all hang out where we can and do the best we can, bro.
Just put all the highlights on the Pete boys.
Yeah.
That's the games we won.
Nah, big up Isaac, bro. Let's get into our man Pomps. Far out.
Bro.
Where do we have this man? He's got to be in the very good range. Great. Oof. His performances have been, you could probably argue, for Pompey and what he's been able to do. Mm-hmm. I'll let you guys kind of decide that one. But yeah, minimum like Southside saying I'm in the very good range. Do you guys at least agree with very good for Pompey?
Ooh, at least, bro. At least I would go great. I think that he has been a massive key part to us this year, because without Pompey going to the wing, going to center, with all our outside back problem that we had, like with injuries and stuff like that, and to step up in his level of game, like from the last couple of years, Pompey's steadily improved in little areas. Without like we always have the thing with Pompey. He's a good player, very good player. You know, he does his job, but this year he's having some real key impact to games. You know, the Dolphins game where he broke it open, made that massive line break and broke like 10 tackles or whatever in the run. Yeah. And, you know, he's having these moments week in, week out now where you're going to be like, brother, like, when does it come to a point where we got Ali and Rocco looking like, oh, can we fit him back in? Now it's just like, we're going to fit one of them back in, because Pompey's doing such a great job. And he's like, his durability is his best ability as well too, right? Like he doesn't get injured. So, bro, great season.
Yes. What do you say, Josh?
I'm on that same wavelength. I think back to the Anzac Day game against the Knights as well.
Yeah, it was great.
You know, he played like his role to perfection, and I think actually like I prefer him out on the wing to center. I think he has winger. More of a he has more of a an impact out there. And I don't know, man. Like you said. Throughout the start of the season, it was when Roger, Dell, you know, Ali and Rocco were back, like that's the, you know, the centers and wings, and now it's like, okay, well, like Rocco, maybe like give Ali a couple more weeks in cup, maybe like does Dallin drop out? You know, like we're having those conversations and no one's saying Pompey drops out. You know, it's not been that, and so I think that's been like. Such a testament to like you said, Ash, his durability and his availability, and just the way he is knowing our system and able to play so well within our system as well.
Agreed.
Yeah, man, I'm with you guys. Absolutely. Shout out to bloody hell, everyone's going crazy tonight. Appreciate it. Potawai, the man Isaac, bro. Shout out to the bro Isaac. Appreciate it. Up the wires. Yeah, man. Thank you. Thank you, bro. We far out. Yeah, everyone. Yeah, we're gonna go amazing season from now on.
yeah. 5 gifted, and we're going to the amazing season.
Yeah. Everyone's on amazing. We're gonna have one line along the top like this. Amazing. No, we appreciate you people, and actually, you know, like you know, for these types of things, we appreciate everyone, the funds, and that. And we want to put it back in, actually, guys. I know in the we're pinned in the chat, we've got the Wires Up TV meet and greet at Lily Worlds. Ash is making his first trip over. Ash, first trip to
Yep.
New Zealand,
Yep.
and he's coming to the Titans game to come watch. And we want to
There
have
we
a
go.
hangout with Ash. Josh is going to be there,
Yep.
and we want you guys to come along to that. And the details are in the link there. And it's going to be a cool event, man. We can't wait for it. So that, we're putting money back in so that we can hang out with you guys. This is a community for us, and we want it to
Exactly.
be awesome. So
And a massive shout out to you guys, because like without the money and all the support you guys are going to give in the channel, like it would have made it a little bit tougher for me, like to figure out like accommodation and stuff. And Levon obviously kind hands put a lot of our funding that we've put back into the channel. We're putting it over so I can make it over to New Zealand as well, and have an opportunity to spend on other things. So you guys have been a massive thank you from me, like small kid from where I'm from, and Beachmere, Brisbane, Australia. To go to New Zealand just off the back of doing YouTube for you guys, like incredible. So massive thank you.
Nah, man, absolutely. Shout out to everyone as well, for making this possible. We can't wait to get the brother Ash here and have that. And we're gonna have drinks provided, food provided. We got goodie bags. I've got things I'm getting ready, gifts, spot prizes, and we're hopefully gonna get someone from the team to come and hang out with us for a little bit. So I think I might get Liquor. I might get Liquor on to get some media training. We'll do an interview with him and try to.
That's my boy,
bro.
Yeah,
Can we
bossy color.
Can we have someone ask him like actual questions instead of just
Yeah.
throwing false statements at him and hoping that he can say something?
Line break, speed, power. What am I trying to say?
Full credit to the boys.
Full credit to the boys. All right, man. Oh my goodness, thank you, Hayden.
Bro, Hayden.
We appreciate that, bro. Thank you very much, man.
Have you put like a down the bottom in the tier list? Have you put like a wise up chat? Because we might have to make something above amazing.
Amazing
we might have
season.
we might have to go another level up, bro. We might have to, hey guys, we can do a tier list for each member, each person in the chat, bro. End of year, where we rank you guys.
Bro, why am I down in poor season? What?
What have I done wrong?
What have I done?
Unreal.
Oh, bro, now we've got the big man right here. And I'm going to go straight to the man, CHT. And this one's for my man, Josh, because, look, he called it. And look, for me, I couldn't see outside of the, just his past experience. Retiring, all those things, you add them up and you think, this guy is in this box here. This is what he can do, and this is what he, But you've seen it. You saw something more out of him that you really, really do, have believed in him, bro. But speak to CHT, man, and where would you put him?
Oh man, is there a box above amazing up there as well? No, I think CHT for me very solidly goes in the very good. Gosh, man, I get so excited talking about Chanel. From last year, people being like, why are we bringing him back? I guess he can probably play off the bench at some point. To now, like that game on the weekend, I got so happy for him. I know he was like running on a treadmill on his intercept try, but like that to me, how tired he was on that run just typifies like he puts his all into every single game.
Mm-hmm.
He is possibly the best defensive half in the game, probably like top 3 at least. And he is just someone that is going to become Mr. Dependable for this side as we go on and on and on. And him and Luke, their little brotherhood, like that photo of them sitting together a few weeks ago, just out on the grass talking, like, the combination that they have is like, as much as, Luke Metcalf's having a great season, Chanel like carried the first few games. Like he was really, really up there. And so I think, I forgot about great. He's definitely in the great, but, I don't know, man. I'm so excited about Chanel. I was like, oh man, that's the Samoan number 9.
Is someone number 9? Yeah,
bro.
Absolutely. You same Ash. I've got him in great season minimum. Yeah. Look, they those two for me. I'll just say because I'm not listening to you, Ash, but
Yeah,
I
you're
think
right.
he was. Look, those two. I'll and talk Metcalf. We'll get to Metcalf as well, but those two were touted as probably mid tier halves. I mean, we've across the board, and what they're able to do. But Chanel, man, he's been so consistent, bro. Defensively, he's been rock solid. His kicking game, those little bombs that he does, his actual option kicks too. You're starting to see him take kicks on Luke's side now and shape it the other
Yep.
way. And yeah, I've got him in the great season for sure. What would you say, Ash?
Yeah, pretty much echoing every one of your points, guys. Like, a guy that's just jumped into that jersey. And like again, like I want to add this. It's very similar to Adam Pompey. His durability is incredible. Like I don't like Chanel for the last couple of years. Like towards the end of last year, he was in that jersey because he was dependable. He always did a great job. And defensively he was always there. And knowing Webby what he wants to instill in this club, I think he shows that in every part of his game, right? Like he competes on everything. He defends hard, and he's durable as hell. And that's the reason why, like, unfortunately for a lot of people, like everyone wants to have Tanner in around a squad as much as they can. And like Tanner's been incredible in cup, but when you got these two building connection, what they're doing, like it's hard to separate these two. And like, I think Chanel's been incredible for us, bro. And he has the potential to continue on the uptrend to get to an amazing season by the end of it too,
Yeah.
right? Like who would have
Absolutely.
thought, Who would have thought? Incredible. Josh thought for sure. He knew.
Yeah,
Oh,
bro, he absolutely.
things. I actually got a message saying to stop talking so much about Chanel. I had to check my phone. I was, and then T Mackie as well. Look, he's not a bad man to have a man crush on. Like,
Yeah.
he's quite beautiful. I think we've
He's
got the
a
best
good-looking
looking
man.
halves comp in the comp by a long shot.
Agree.
I don't know. Look, I was going to quickly get back to the Strictly.
Oh,
He's going
crazy.
absolutely crazy. See a little bit of his hands for the Uber Ash.
Sure, Vala.
Yeah, bro. Nah, we'll do, bro. Like, Strictly. Actually, we're trying to get. I've spoken to Monty. We're probably going to get someone to come over. So it might be Liquor Man. Who knows? But we can't wait for it, bro. Massive. And Isaac, far out. Thanks for doing what you guys do. Always look forward to watching the streams. Appreciate that, man. We really
you,
do
Isaac.
appreciate all the stuff.
Yeah.
And we do it for the love of our team, but this community is absolutely massive. And shout out to Jazz as well. It is the knowledgeable, but I get comments from everyone, and shout out to our brother Boulder as well. And everyone just looks from the outside from a different fan base, like, bro, your chat's very knowledgeable. And when we go over to their ones and we talk, people are talking footy, and it's credit to you guys, man. We got absolutely massive quality of people in here.
100%.
Okay, man, let's get to this one. Luke Metcalf. I'll give this one to you, Ash. Yeah, you go with it, bro.
Bro, it has to be amazing, right? For a kid that we got over from the Sharks, had his injury troubles, we saw the potential in him. I think we're saying all that to start with. The big key thing about Luke Metcalf is his mentality. Like the kid has been saying from day dot, I want to be the number 7 for the Warriors. I want to take Sean Johnson's number 7 jersey, and I want to take over and push through and show everyone I can do this, right? And people laughed, right? People were thinking like I was like, bro, as soon as when we had Ronald Volkman, I was like, Ronald Volkman's our future 7, Luke Metcalf's our future 6. That's the way we're gonna run. And then when I heard it was 7, I was like, oh, maybe there's an opportunity there, brother. Like what this kid has shown, the start of the season, his game management just grew tenfold, right? He showed everyone he can game manage. He can do that as a half. He can kick 40-20s, which a lot of people were calling for last year. He's proving all that sort of part of his game wrong. And now he's just really found this beautiful balance in his game where he's keen to challenge a line, open it up with his running game, which opens up his passing ability later on as well. Like defensively holds his own against some big bodies that run at him week in, week out. Bruz, there's nothing more I can say. The kid's like, he's at the top of Daily M list at the moment, and probably should still be at top of Daily M list. Has the ability to win a Daily M medal this year, which Sean Johnson unfortunately wasn't able to do in 2023 as a 7 of Warriors. Bro, he has to be an amazing season. I don't think there's anything around that. I think that he's been incredible for us this year.
Yeah. Same. Would you say same, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, when someone's leading the Dalians, there's really not much more you can say other than like he's been incredible this year.
Yep.
I think he is just exactly what we needed after SJ. Like it's a different style of play. It's not exactly the same that SJ would play, and it's not the same way, but the way that it has transformed over, the last 14, 15 weeks from, like all of us going, I'm not sure about the attack, and a lot of our points coming off of, other teams' errors and things like that, to the confidence that he's playing with now, the looks he's getting, like that Dolphins game, grubbering through the line and passing that ball out to Capewell. His support play is like second to
bang
none.
on.
Like
he's very much so.
Every time someone makes a line break, he's right there. Like Kurt Capewell against the Broncos back at Mount Smart, where Capewell's down and he's overrunning Capewell, so excited. Let's get the ball, give me the ball, and then still being there like right at the end when Capewell has to offload it to him. Like he just I don't know, like the leaps and bounds he's had this year. Nothing short of incredible. And so to me, like, I think we need to work on that contract extension as soon as we can.
Absolutely.
And just try and lock him up forever, because I mean, he to me could become the best Australian we've ever had, if he can stick around for as long as possible.
Agreed.
I agree with everything you guys have said here. Like, to take the mantle and say I'm going to be the 7, and to actually do it for a club that's depended massively on halves. Like, we've had 2 halves, like I said, mainly, and no disrespect the ones in between, but SJ and took that mantle young, and so did Stacey, and but this team has always been built off a solid halfback. And what's Metcalf's doing, he could definitely build into that. His career is gonna, he's gonna have to play, 150 more games or whatever it is. But he's doing a great job with the 30 or 40 that he's played to build that that CV. And he's just so confident, bro. I actually can't believe, to be actually a starting half without much actual experience to. Like, and I know he's had injuries, and he's 26 years old. I'm not saying that he hasn't got the experience. He's learned over the time. He's been in systems for a long time, but to go and do it, man, and to own it and want it, I'm just so happy that he's achieved that, man. But we better keep pushing through. I don't want to just take away from the bro there. Okay, let's get
quick
to
thing, bro.
Oh,
Just
sorry,
one
go.
last quick thing. When we look at our best winning percentage players, right, we got a lot of 100% players that have had like 1 or 2 appearances for us. But any other credible, appearances that we've had, Luke Metcalf with the most appearances with the highest percentage win rate for the Warriors was 70% right now. So when he's in that Warriors jersey, we're winning at a 70% click. And, this year, especially at a halfback jersey, we're winning more times than not. And I think that means more than anything.
No, I don't. Sorry. Yeah, you got something, Josh, or you?
Oh no, I was just affirming that comment.
Yeah,
from Josh Tutaki.
Yeah. Who's that? Oh, Blue's Clues? Is that the OG?
Steve, bro. Steve pulling the bloods. That's crazy.
Shout out
love
to
that.
Tucky, okay, to Martin Martin. This kind of I suppose probably a little bit of a tricky one for a lot of people. Yep. I actually enjoyed his performance on the Sharks game. I thought he was actually great to have, and that the way that Webby did that interchange, I thought was fantastic. And he's playing in that kind of 14 role where he's a bit of a hooker, a bit of everything. Look, I think his impact's probably been in the good range. He probably hasn't done heaps to say that I would say he's in very good, but he might end up being very good if he continues to develop as that kind of a utility player. But where would you guys have him, I'll chuck this at you, actually, Josh.
Yeah, I like to be on the same wavelength as you there. I think over the last few weeks he has he has grown in his role and what he's doing. I think like Saturday's game was, that personified, like he knew his role and he knew what he had to do, and especially, playing bigger minutes with no Egan. I think towards the start of the year, we didn't really know how to use him in the team.
Yeah.
And him and Luke almost would, clash at the, when Luke's an extra one wider because, Tamati's playing that in the middle, and the styles would clash a little bit, and our, our attack in the 20 wasn't as good as it could have been. But I think that, really learnt to play with each other now, and I think we're seeing the best of that, and we saw the best of that on Saturday as well.
Yeah. What would you say, Ash?
Yeah,
You could
pretty
probably
much
say,
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with all your
You could
points.
probably
Like,
say
he's
average,
kind
but working into a good, or I don't know. It's kind of one of those ones where he's in a tough pickle. He's not really like an out and out 14 utility type player, and he's kind of you can see he kind of figured something out during that Sharks game. He kind of got it in a bit of a rhythm with his passing and stuff, but it's one of those tricky ones. Yeah,
but
what'd you say?
Everything I've seen, I think it's been pretty good. Like, for a guy to fill in all those different roles, he's not a usual hooker, but he's doing a job there. Played 13, did very well, opened up a couple of opportunities for us. Played fullback for that little period that CNK got put in the bin, did a good job. We saw in the preseason the ability he has there. So I'm going to say good at the moment. He's doing a role for us, and I think that everyone's enjoying his role at the moment that I can see.
Yeah, absolutely. Just going to get man. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go.
You go.
Just quickly, Waz AQ. Thank you massively, bro. Thank you very much. We really do appreciate you. And Chris, man, Bina Mahi, the last 2 nights missed most of the shows yesterday and today. Sounds like you're coming over with just your Wild shirt on, Ash. Here's a little something, man. Hey, everyone's directing this at Ash, bro. It's absolutely fantastic. It's going to be an awesome.
Thank you, boys.
Bro, he's going to be a massive trip. But yeah, go, Josh.
And I don't know if we'd talk about this more later or anything, but would you, for the rest of the season, have TMM at 14 or Healy?
I personally like Healy. I do like that rotation. Like I said, what I actually like was the offload game that he was generating from his, and I could see that working towards the end of the games if he came on for Egan. But me and Ash have had this kind of thing where if you do have, with the injuries we've got, TMM just gives you that extra cover. But we haven't, knock on wood, we haven't had a backline injury for a little bit, and he hasn't had to go fullback or halves. It's something that I could see building. Like he sometimes he did that little kick over for RTS, and it was like a little bit of a half break, could have been a try, but.
Yep.
Like those little moments, you're like, oh, actually, that's quite nice to see when you have an extra kind of person with a halves mind on the field. But there's a strong argument for Healy too. What would you say, Ash?
Yeah, I'll just slightly sway to Healy, but as Levon said, I kind of feed the argument of when we're having these moments where we're running Kurt Capewell in the center, to where if we have one of our other centers go down, we don't have Kurt Capewell to fill that center role. Where we can have Tamati run out there, pull in a fullback jersey, CNK go to center. I think it opens up that opportunity. But if we're full strength, right, to where we have 2 centers, out and out centers there, Bompy and a Berry or Ali, whatever's there, Capewell's going to be playing edge back row. Then I feel like Sam Healy's the better option due to having that nice rotation with Wade Egan. And if we had any injuries in our outside backs, Capewell can shift to a center position, and we're not down on troops in that sort of sense there. So that's the way I'm kind of looking at it. But if we're full strength, I think Healy's probably the better play just to freshen up Wade Egan.
Yeah. What would you say, Josh? What's your call on that?
Yeah, I think I'm on Healy.
Yep.
I think he is just that energy that we get when he gets onto the field, and especially towards the back end of a game as well, like that Magic Round game where he came on, right at the end, and he was like a defensive menace, but still was our most attacking player. Like he was someone that, he almost set up a try for someone, like unluckily stepped on the dead ball line, but like he brought that energy, whereas like Tamaide, he's almost a step off
Yep.
Hooker, and so like I think his impact diminishes when we have to play him in hooker when Egan's come off or anything like that. Whereas I think like with Healy, you can play him as a 9 or a 13 or like, a middle forward, and he can still kind of have the same impact and still have that energy.
Yeah. Would you argue that I was just going to say, Ash, would you argue that a Healy would be actually great up against like a Raiders, like a more physical type team, like even against a Storm? I'm thinking like, if you wanted to continue like moment, like if you want to keep tempo up the whole game, and really try and tire out the other team's forward pack who might be like strong and athletic as well, I think in those situations like you got to run Healy. I'd say. What would you say, Ash?
Yeah, I probably agree to that. He could be game plan reliant in that sort of sense. Like when we're looking at front loading in those games and not having too much of a drop off when the boys are pumping it out there. Healy coming off the bench and just continue that ruck speed. I think that, and giving opportunities from every position of the field, I think that opens up a lot of things. To where if you want to play a bit more of a clinical game, I think Tamaide, have Wado kind of just pace himself throughout the game and just pick his spots. So yeah, it could work for different sides. I could definitely see that.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, yep. Yeah, it's great discussion though. It's so tight. It's like one of those situations where you'd love to have 18 man, 5-man bench, and you
right.
You get the of the perfect world in each game and how the game goes. Like Jacko Ford, man, like far out. Yeah, where are we saying with this one? Just straight into very good or great? Probably great. His impact been great?
Top end of great for me at least.
Yeah.
That Raiders game was kind of his, I guess, high point of the season. He's been such an impactful player in this team, and for him to barely have any errors this season, where in 2023 it was like, man, can we get this guy some new hands? For him to now, be Mr. Reliable and someone that we can rely on, bringing the boys forward, and like he's just got such a motor on him that it'll, like we can put him out there for 50, 60 minutes and he doesn't break a sweat. He runs 200 meters and makes 40 tackles, and you're like, yep, that's Jackson Ford.
Yeah, I'd say great, bro. He hasn't missed a beat this year. When he started, that first game was, I think that Vegas game's just a throwaway now that I look back on it.
It's our third trial game, I'm pretty sure.
You couldn't get much out of it when I look back on it. I was like, nah, I don't even think of that. But he's been awesome. Anything on that, Ash?
Pretty much echoing every one of your thoughts, guys. Like, he's contributed in all different areas, run meters, post contact meters. He's coming off the bench. He's done a great job. So great, and it could definitely push to amazing. But if he continues this on for the rest of the year, I reckon he'd be one of the best bench players, like bench forwards, in the NRL at the moment.
Harder. Okay, man. Let's get into Aaron Clark. Far out. We're going amazing straight away off the bat. I think it's one of the best signings. Let's make this one easy.
Everyone knows, man.
What a signing, eh? And like, I just want to go back to that point where everyone was very much, it's like for Jazz. There's not much difference. There's not much change. And we were all, me and you, Ash, and I'm sure you, Josh, watching that tape, we knew Aaron's game was different. It was a different kettle of fish. But even then, I was thinking he was an impact ball playing luck off the bench. I didn't see this where it was like, nah, this guy's a starter, bro. And it's kind of shaped our attack in many ways, because I was just watching Dylan Walker actually on the Eels, and I was like, Dills is just doing that ball playing lock roll, and it's kind of, unless you're making inroads through the middle, it's not really going to hit. And shout out to Rose, who I always credit this for me. You guys, but he was saying, nah, actually, Walker and that we're limiting Metcalf in a sense. I was like, I never thought of it that way. But you start, when you see something like a Clark operating, it starts to open up other avenues for the halves, which is like, bro, I couldn't believe it. But yeah, listen to me. What would you say, Josh, for Clark?
for me, like obviously, he broke us last year in the Anzac Day game.
Yeah.
Like he was the one player I was like, man, I wish we could have him. Like he, the way he had his go forward, and he was coming off the bench in that game as well. So I was thinking, oh yeah, we need a bench impact like that. We need something like that. This year, has anyone else really like thought that much about Tohu Harris, which is such a sad thing to say, but like,
bro.
Aaron Clark is just like he's filled what Tohu did, plus what Aaron did. Like obviously, they have their Tohu is better in other areas and things like that, but Aaron Clark, man, like he has just been like outstanding. Like I can't think of anything better than what he's done this year. I think he's had a better season than Luke for mine.
Yeah. Oh, yep.
And it's close. Like both, they're definitely our top two players. But yeah, I don't know. He like I feel so sad saying that about Tohu because he's obviously been such an incredible player for us.
Yeah.
But the impact when Aaron, and it was more in the like round 6 to 10 to 11, where we'd see him go off the field and we would have a noticeable drop in our performance, and that's where teams would start to come back at us and get that momentum. And then when he'd come back onto the field, it was like, well, hold on, here we go, we're back, and Aaron's kind of shoring up the middle. And so I'll say it every game when he goes off the field, there is a noticeable diminish in our performance. And so for that, I mean, that can't be anything less than amazing, really.
Yeah. Anything on that, Ash?
Yeah, bro. Quickly. I have him up there for signing of the year. He's right up there with Terrell May. His numbers are right up there with Terrell May this season, which is crazy to say. Terrell May's been throwing up some numbers in attack, but this guy's doing it in all different levels of the game. He's having the same amount of runs over 8 meters, which is a stat they have on. Shout out to Code Sports. They got a couple of stats up here. And similar sort of stats with the run meters with less runs comparatively to Paddy Carrigan, Terrell May, Adam Fanor Blake, and Payne Haas. He's within that top 5 margin of run meters for forwards in the competition right now. Just been a revelation, not just with his running game either. His quick play to ball speed, defensively, he's been rock solid. Like, bruhs, like, say less. Signing of the year, for sure.
Yep. Nah, easy.
100%.
Easy on that one. Okay, let's get to brother Ed. Tough one for Ed. Very, very tough. He's had some rough games. But then he, Ed, to his credit, what was the run of games he had with us in the last couple of, maybe a run of 2 or 3 games, and he was performed really well, I thought.
I thought he was great, yeah.
Yeah. I just saw teammate. I'd say in the average season, was it the preseason where he was really poor? I can't remember if he played games where it was regular
season. He was poor, yeah. So he played against the Tigers, Broncos, and Cowboys this year. And great.
He was solid in all of them. Yeah. I don't want to be too critical of our bro because I have a soft spot for it. I do like him. Him as a player, as a person. Yeah.
In that Tigers game, I remember in the lead up just being like, man, like I'm not sure. Like I don't, man, like is Ed really the one that we're putting in there? Can we put someone else in there? And coming out of that game, it was, Ed's, Ed is a solid backup. And I think we all talked about his confidence, but the way he's been playing in Cup, like he's getting his confidence back like thick and fast. Yeah. And he will be a great backup for us. If required. Obviously, like Pompey's been shifting over to that wing, but when we've needed him, like he has stepped up, which has just been like really, really cool for Ed, and like I'm so happy for him.
Yeah, yes. No, like I got to go give him a good season, eh? I mean, honestly, I think what was my brain was I think I was trying to figure out if those preseason games were in the regular season. I couldn't remember because he had a shocker at the Sharks. I think it was preseason, and he had a But he's been solid, bro. I'll give him in the good season. You guys,
I'm right there for good. Yeah, right there for good. Quickly, before we jump off him too, just real quickly, he has just continually to grow year in, year out.
Yep.
Just an easy way to test that too. Also, if you go check his run meters by season average, this year he's upped it by only a small amount of games, by 132. Last year, 126. The year before that, 116. So he's slowly growing under Andrew Webster. Obviously, the error rates, all that sort of stuff. But when we had him, those times that we had him, he didn't have too many errors in those games. It was a good impact. So shout out to Ed.
Yeah. And shout out to the Rewa Hard. All day Rewa. Have you been to you know about Manurewa, Ash? You know
No.
South Auckland? We're gonna take the road to Rewa.
Nah, bros.
Take
I
it
had
to
a
the
couple
hood,
of
bro.
boys. I had a couple of boys from South Auckland come over, bro. So I've been
yeah.
clinics.
We need to train you up on your suburbs, bro. You need to know your Otara, your Manurewas, your Mangares. You go over to the west side. Where are you actually right now, Josh? What suburb you in?
Forest Hill on the North Shore.
He's in the shore boy.
Hey,
Oh, no wonder.
I've been a Westie my whole life. I just
Yeah,
work
bigger.
on the shore, but yeah, bro, Messi,
Don't discriminate.
Henderson,
Yeah,
Ranui,
Messi,
that's my hood.
yeah, bro. I'm Te Atatu, Messi.
yep.
Oh, actually, Hobsonville. I was in the rich area.
Ooh.
Suburbs, I was in the suburbs.
Yeah, you're coming at me, hey, like.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding, bro. I was all love, bro. Yeah, but we'll take a. What's to say? South Auckland was basically Logan or Ipswich. Yo, I can
Completely
attest to that.
understand, brother. That's yeah. Shout out to the boys at Southside, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. Shout out to everyone. Oh, here's
That's
Margaret
cool.
here. Lex, there we go. Galston represent West Side. Roscoe, Gizzy.
Commune?
Bro. Issues are safe in the
Bro, I took the alarm out of my car when I moved to the
yeah,
store.
everything. Shout out everyone, bro. Everyone where you are from and checking in. It's awesome to see. Okay, man. Let's keep powering through. Wade Egan, far out. Okay. Oh, I'll just go my thoughts quickly. Look, there's a clear period. I mean, in the start of the season, right, there was kind of a disjointedness in the offense and all those things, figuring out how to get this team going. But one of the constants is Egan just getting things going, generating 6 gains, generating offense, pass like those little out balls to like Marata. You know, those worked money. Like he's found ways to get him through the year, and yeah, I just think he's been great, at least minimum great for sure. Where would you go, Ash?
Yeah, echo all that. He's such a key member to our side, such a key member to our spine, the most consistent member to our spine, overall. Just his ruck deception is just incredible. I think that he's had a really good year. Obviously, it was unfortunate he was out injured against the Sharkies, but I'm sure when he gets back, bro, we can see the best out of out of Wade Egan. And it's good that we have cover around him now to where he can rest up on little things in his game. But yeah, shout out to him. Great season for sure. He's been one of our best for sure.
Yeah, yep. He's been absolutely awesome. See everyone in the chat too saying that as well. Anything else on him, Josh?
No, just can't wait to see him play for the Kiwis at the end of the year. That'll be pretty amazing.
Yeah, the residency. The residency rule. Yeah, that's good times. Good times. The Fiend.
Shout out to Fiendy.
Bunty R4. Another one you could argue. I probably have him in the good season to range. He's been solid. He's been in and out though. I think he had that knee injury. Is he still out by chance? Or is he back in?
He returns. Pretty sure he returned last week in Cup. I just need to jog my memory, but I'm pretty sure he played Cup. So let me quickly over here.
Shout out Bruce just quickly. Yeah, man. Shout out to 11 Mangani and Mangani East Hawks. Shout out to Olsen Philippine, one of our greats, man. Absolutely. That's so cool that I think that's where Butcher's from, hey, Mangani East. And I think Marata's Mangani East, some of our boys.
Yeah, Bunty played Cup too, by the way.
Okay, cool. I like Bunty's work when he's come on. I do like it. I think his work this year's been when he's come on is actually really quite solid. And what would you guys say in the good range? I'm not trying to I would have him in there, or would you have him in
Yeah.
very good? What would you guys say, Josh?
I'd say Bunty is doing his job for
Yeah.
us. I think that Raiders game was good. He is a good backup option for us, and when he has played for us, he's been good. So, I'm happy to chuck him in the good category.
Okay,
I'm-
you cool with that?
I'm right there with
Ash?
it. Yeah, I'm right there with you. He's been good filling, done his job. We know what Bunty brings, and like the off-field stuff is what good what Bunty brings. You know, leading that new chant the boys are having, and everyone's jumping in on it.
Yo.
Dimitri doing it. Shout out to Bunty. You know, he got that one started with the boys. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So great to see.
He's apparently a big hype man, eh? Everyone loves him,
Yeah.
and you need one. You need one in every team.
You
Bro, I
need
remember
one.
the videos from like 2019, eh?
Yeah,
Just
Yep.
like, coming out them in the changing rooms, like
yeah, that was
midweek.
good. Yeah, those are good times. Just quickly on this one, so that's a great. We should actually do a salary cap one. Maybe we'll try to find the template where you get $12 million, and then the only thing I don't like is we don't know the actual figures for all of the cap, but maybe we'll find a way of like. That sounds like a good show, eh, boys? We should try to do that one time.
Yeah,
That sounds sick.
We play Football Manager or something. We kind of mess around with some money.
I love my football
Some
manager.
third party deals going. A bit of
There are a couple of houses on the side.
Yeah.
Wheeling and dealing.
There's some nice places
Really?
over here on the shore. I'm happy
Yeah.
to.
Let's go close to Josh for on the shore. It'd be fantastic. Okay, Morata. He's been really good, man.
has.
Ash, where would you have Morata?
I would say we got the good and the very good range, don't we? And Damon's
Yeah.
great. So I would possibly say he's within good to very good for me.
Yeah,
Probably
it's
very
got a
high
spot.
in good. So like he's stepped up his game in a lot of areas. I loved when he's moved to the middle as well. So I have no questions of Morata. And to start the season, I thought I'd have a lot more questions on Morata Nicodet this year, but
Yeah.
he's been really, really good for us. You know, found his mojo with with Wade Egan playing that overs line off the right post. That beautiful shape you get one-on-one with defenders, small halves. So I'm loving his game this year.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his peers within the very good range, you're actually thinking he's probably at the top of that list, from an overall work rate. So he's bordering on that great too, for me.
Yep.
But I'm happy with very good. What do you say, Josh? You happy with very good?
Yeah. I think one thing I've loved about him this year is like whichever, whether it's prop or second row, like he's like just done the job that he's needed to do, and he like there's not been a drop off when he's gone to second row or gone to prop, and he's still has the same impact he's always had. And I think that comes with the preseason and him having a full preseason. Because I remember last year, he had a full preseason and then he broke his foot or something like that and was out for the first 11 rounds or something.
Yeah.
And when he came back, it was like, oh yeah, like we're ready for him, ready. And then he just didn't have the time to build up and build in. Whereas this year, like he's been able to build into what he's been doing, and like you go back to that Dolphins game where he ran straight over the top of Cody Nikarima and scored, and
Fantastic.
that like that's what we see out of him on the edge. And then in the middle, he's solid defensively, runs hard, gets that first 20 minutes where it's like, oh yeah, that's he has hurt the other team, with his power.
Yep.
So like very good for me.
Yep. I agree with you guys there. The man, the myth, the legend, James Fisher Harris. Wow. You could probably be, tricky in saying great, and then you could probably argue amazing in terms of total impact when you're adding it across the board.
Agreed.
This is a tough one for me because I want to put him in amazing based on what I believe is his impact on the team. And his performances on the field have been like, you probably say Aaron Clark's overall performances with the attack and all those things better. And it's not diminishing Fish, and he's had his pick injury as well. But for me, I want to put him in there amazing. But maybe I need to pull it back a bit. What would you say, Ash?
Oh, bro,
Um,
I jumped straight on the back of you saying it's amazing. Like, I think
yeah,
that there could be an argument to some people to say great due to
yeah,
obviously on field, probably people aren't obviously
yeah,
seeing a lot of what he does, right? But as you and me know, like just rewatching the games and going in slow mos and seeing all the little stuff he does in the middle and the impact he's had to these middle forwards that he's like Vimwangas and stuff, the way they chase from the inside, like their little defensive efforts that they do, that's James Fisher Harris. Like that's what he's embedding into these kids. He's doing all those little things. It's the dark arts he brings. He brings this mongrel, bro. Like I got to go amazing for all those aspects. He's really building what
yeah,
I want out of a Warriors outfit, and that's mongrel, heart, mana. That's what we love.
yeah.
Oh, Ash with the mana.
He's in the Mundo, man. Yeah, yeah.
We love it.
Love the
No,
dark
I
art.
echo that. I'm happy to chuck him in amazing.
Yeah.
What is it? What is it for? Why is it so different? You guys think with Fish? Is it purely just? Is it actually his experience in terms of the four prems, or is it actually him as a person? Like maybe off screen, he's different and he connects and people. Was he just this fear mongering type leader where you don't want to mess it up because you're afraid of what he's going to do to you? Because I don't know if you saw that bloke in the bar, real where they were talking about Fish and his story, brick by brick or something, and then his music was some weird like movie.
Out of the horror movie, bro.
Yeah, it was like kind of quirky. Like he's got a kind of a personality that maybe we don't quite know. What would you say, Ash, about Fish? What is it about him?
I say it's a bit of both of it. Like I feel like he's that fear. I feel like he's that fear monger on the field, right? Where you can tell when Fish is like he's clicked on the gear and everyone's going to follow him by example. And he gets it done on the defensive end. And I think that a lot of people, when you're playing footy, like personally for me, when I was playing footy with guys that were really good defensive players and they were just hardy in defense and taking heads off and stuff, it gets you amped up more than probably those attacking players that are like really like getting over the front foot and that sort of stuff, right? So I think it's that, and it's also off the field, just the standards he's holding in either training and that. Obviously he knows how to win premierships and stuff. I think that it's just a combination of many different things that he's bringing to the club, and that's little things that people probably don't understand. Comparatively, what we had in the past of very good individual talent, that's like incredible talent. He's not just an incredible talent, like he's incredible leadership. He makes a team play as a team. And not as a bunch of individuals stepping up in the moment. I think this is what we all expected from Fisher Harris for sure.
Yeah, bro. No, hard. Yeah. It's been beautiful to see, and let's keep moving with our man Dallin. I mean the tries. He's had 2 tries in the last 2 weeks. He's starting to find his feet a bit. Josh, where would you put our man Dells?
It's hard. I thought he was really off the pace at the start when he first came back. I think the last 2 games he's really kind of getting back to the Dell we know, and just strictly because of what he has done over the past couple of years, like I do think he's been more on the average side. I think by the end of the year we could see him move up into that very good, push on as he progresses. But yeah, like he's been getting he has been progressing more each time. I think one thing I've noticed, and I've seen a few people comment about as well, is the way teams kick to us now. Roger and Chance have the biggest run meters. Like they don't kick to Dell's side. So the first couple of weeks, Dallin had 10 runs for 80 meters. And it's just like, well, that's not the impact we're used to with Dell. Whereas, if teams were kicking to us how they used to, it would be, Dallin would have way more meters and would be, 50 more meters because they'd be kicking to him, but they're kicking to Roger because they're scared of Roger, And then the ball doesn't get across to Dallin as easy, or, they're kicking down to Chance to try and minimize Chance. And so it's, to me, he has been on the average side, but that's mainly because he hasn't been as involved. But I do assume that, especially over the next, kind of 5-6 weeks, that we'll see him go back to his best and, him be fit and firing for the end of the year.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So, well, What would you guys have there? Ash, what would
Yeah.
you have him in?
Yeah, I'm right there with Josh. I'm going to go average to start off with. And like, you guys already know my thoughts about Dal,
Yeah, absolutely.
argued with everyone about defensive stuff and this and that. I still see the same comments. I think people just don't understand.
Yeah.
Will never understand, right? But with Dal, with all those points to just put in, you guys know what the side I land on with Dal. I think I'm still with Josh, where he's still working his way back into full fitness. His meterage is down a tad this year. There's just little moments of him at the moment, but he's starting to get on the try scoring board. Like he's taking those high balls in the air. We're loving to see all that with Dal. And I think it's going to be better and better as the future goes on. I hate seeing the drop Dallin. Like he's not going that bad. Like I'm happy to have him there. He's a premier winger in the competition, and we'll get to see that more so later on in the year.
Yep. Yeah, I think like you look at Dallin and Rocco, it's injuries come into factor too.
Yep, agreed.
And building into their season, I think they're definitely he's gonna definitely get into that solid good or even very good by the end of it. And we're gonna need them too, guys. Like the wingers, we're gonna need those two to be firing to get far. Like yep. I think Roger has to keep this pace, and Dal needs to pick up for us to really push on. And if we want to. So I'm banking on him having a massive turn up in the next couple of this last half of the season.
Yep.
Man, CNK, bro, far out. One of the I know for us in terms of Warriors fullbacks, we had the Wade McKinnons, we've had. Trying to think of who's your favorite fullbacks before. Kevin was fantastic.
Kevin Locke.
Yeah, Webby.
So we had Cleary. That old school style. But CNK might put his name in history with one of our best if he continues this trend. I think definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going amazing. You guys going amazing as well? We happy with that or?
Yep, 100%.
I just want to apologize to Chans as well. At the start of the year, I was very much on the Taine Tuapiki train. And I was a bit confused when he was re-signed just based off the form he had at the time. And, they were talking about him playing in England, and I was, pretty confident that would be the case, and that's how he would end. And I thought he would, end well with us this year. I didn't think we would go as good as we're going, but when we play good, he plays good. And so it's almost when he plays good, we play good. And so I'm happy to walk back the want for Taine Tuapiki. I absolutely love Taine still, but Chance has just been on another level this year.
How dare you get it wrong, man? How dare you get it wrong? Talk about getting it wrong. I got this guy right here. Balderman said, congratulations on a terrific win. I did say you win. Now that I'm the type of person to say I told you so, I'm not doing that combined 70 game with you. Mate, next time we get you in here, bro. Oh, my goodness.
Whereas
I know Ash was really frustrated. I let, my apologies, but yeah, bloody hell. Big up to you, Boulder. We love you, man. And guys, I think Boulder's probably going to go on at 10:30. Pop in and say hi to the boys. Be kind and pick their spirits up after the. Be kind.
They have a game this weekend.
Yeah.
we back the Sharks this week.
Yeah, we back the Sharks, bro. Love to the brothers there, the ET. They're absolutely awesome dudes, bro. So, bro, he's absolutely fantastic, man. Okay, man, we're nearly there. Barnett, far out. One of these ones where we do need to break it up in terms of where he was at up till the injury. What do you guys say? Josh, I'll throw this at you.
Oh, man, he was one of our best this year. I'm so gutted for him. I think, he was one of our best. Every game he'd be in our top three. I thought in the way he led the team, I thought this weekend we were going to miss quite a bit of that. But no, he is. Oh man, I'm so gutted. because this is his year, right? Like this was the year he would lead the Warriors to, on that finals charge, and he'd kind of, he'd earned that. Like everyone in the preseason was saying, yeah, Barney has to be our captain this year. Fish can't come in and take that from him. Like Barnett is the captain, and yeah, I mean, he played fantastically before, before his injury, and I just, amazing is definitely the spot for him.
Yeah, same with you, Yash. Definitely,
100%.
His impact has been massive too, bro. Like I said, probably one of the best A defenders, line speed out of the mark, contact detail, leadership. Him and Fish. It's weird, like if you probably had a leadership group of no disrespect to AFB, love him, but AFB and Barnett, you're probably thinking as a captain, you're like the vibes would just be off. You know what I mean? Whereas with these two, they just balance each other out, yin and yang kind of. Like they're not too high or low. These two, like,
no,
I would have loved to have just seen them both. Yeah, go into a finals run. Sorry,
bro. Teams envision your leaders. You look at every other team in competition. Your leaders are what make like the team, play that way, right? And I think, Mitch Barnett and James Fisher-Harris is the reason why they got in amazing, because they have been amazing this season. They've laid a platform for the boys to continue on. And as I said, he laid the platform to get to this point here, and the boys are continuing it on. And that's due to his hard work. So that's why he's an amazing season, no doubt, no matter what. As a captain of our club, he was one of our best players this season for sure. Not only on the field, but definitely off the field. And I just want to really echo that point of like every team, we'll see by the end of this and all our amazing season players, the reason why New Zealand Warriors are the most consistent, most hardy, hardest side, toughest side in the competition is because all our leaders in that top upper echelon all have great mentality. They all work hard. They all got mongrel, and they're just absolute warriors. And that's what's created the culture of the New Zealand Warriors this season is those boys at the top there.
Yep. Absolutely. Cody Kaitwa, far out, man. What a turnaround. And like, I likened him to a Hoffman. This is one I have to own. I said this is a Ryan Hoffman signing. I didn't think it was going to be good. He's too old. He's on the back end. And again, egg on my face, bro. I'll take that one for sure. Boys, where do you have him? It's got to be in the amazing range again. Do we say that? Would you guys be comfortable in saying amazing? Just has to be because he's just done so much work. Oh, some of it great. Okay, I can respect that. I respect it. What's the argument between great and amazing? What do you think it is?
It's tough, though. It's tough. Like, I would push amazing more to the fact of, as like, it's been touched on, he's our Mr. Fix-It this season. Got put in the centers. He had to go up against, Kale Ito over the weekend, right? Unfortunately, Kale came off with a pec injury. But before that, one try due to, whatever circumstances, due to broken play, we quick played the ball. Our middles didn't get our numbers right there and created the overlap on that side. But other than that, I thought Capes was doing an amazing job on that edge. Before that, Herbie Farnworth, brother, one of the best centers in the league, did a job on Herbie Farnworth. To the edge, bro. He's snapping blokes. He's in the State of Origin jersey right now for it. So an amazing season for a guy that, as you said, last year, by the looks of it, towards the end of last year, looked very, very good for us. But I think a lot of people were still questioning that move. I think there's been barely any talk about the Kurt Capewell move for us now in this point of like, well, he's doing a great job for us and he's instilling, again, all the key things that we want from our New Zealand Warriors outfit this season. Leadership, as got touched on earlier on the show when Jacob Laban got into that little tussle, the first guy to get into that tussle with him was Kurt Capewell. And he was willing to take it with his boys. So, yeah, shout out to Cody. Amazing season.
Okay, we've got two more guys, and then after this, we are going to reshuffle. So, we're probably going to go for another half hour, everyone, just so you know. I know a few people got to bounce out. It's all good. But feel free to rewatch if you need to. RTS, this is a great one. I think personally he had a great start. He had that 3 or 4 first games, and it was perfect. And comes back now, and he's looking really good too. I've got him in that great range, really. I think he's been. And would you guys say the same?
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. He, the way he went out with that hamstring injury was making a try-saving tackle, try-saving action. Comes back
Mm.
from it. He probably had not his greatest game against the Dolphins, but ever since then, I think he's been, one of our better backline pieces, of course. And he's getting back into form, bro. Running for big meters. I think he ran for 200 over the weekend. So, yeah, he's as said, if he played all the games, bro, Daily M winger of the season, he would have been up there for sure.
Yeah, I think so. What would you say, Josh?
Yeah, I think we're really finding that he's that wing position is the best place for him. I think also with how well Chance is playing, there's no external pressure on him to be a different type of player like in fullback or anything like that. But like his tough carries and the way he like you see him on his runs and he'll pick out a defender and go like, I'm gonna step you, and it just cracks me up. Like he accelerates towards them, and so they get ready for the contact, and then he's off the left foot and he's he's gone. Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm real stoked with Roger, and I think also like he's done a couple video reviews of his games, which have been real interesting. And I think like what he said after the Dolphins game, where like he dropped that one, and it was because of this and this, and being able to recognize and own that this is why. And then in the next couple of weeks, you see how he progressed from there into like this is how you can see what he's thinking about, like when he's taking the ball, and then pushing on and then going. And so yeah, it's been real cool to see that that with him and Pompey together as well. Like
it's great.
Wise is saying like
great call from Strictly. Absolutely bang on with that one. Their movement's been real solid together. Like the last couple of weeks, I've been really impressed. Okay, man, let's put our coach in there, man. I just thought, you know what, we got to give our coach a lot of reps, and got to give him his props too. Me personally, I'm going amazing, based on what he's come from last year and how he's gotten the squad to where it is right now. On the resources, I always compare him to Serraldo and the different model that we operate within.
Yep.
The development of actual talent. I keep going back to the point, like we've had raw talent, and they've been allowed to make mistakes on the job, whereas I feel the talent we brought through, he's actually producing it so that it's ready on the job site. So I'm going amazing. What do you guys say?
I'm right there with you, bro. You already know my word be love. I've always been a big, strong push for Andrew Webster. I don't think he's really put too much of a foot wrong. Like he always takes full accountability for the issues that he had to overcome and learn. Even though I didn't really see them as too big of issues. Like as a coach that's jumped into the New Zealand Warriors, a rocky organization that we've known from the past, right? That was built off of entertainment before built off of football in general, right? Like, competing with rugby union, with development systems in New Zealand. He had to work with a team in 2023. He didn't get to build that side, and he took that side to the top four. Last year, due to a lot of different circumstances, it ended up going the way it is. But this year, with a side that everyone had in a bottom four, or with a lot of people had a wooden spoon, fighting for a wooden spoon, for him to do what he's doing, he's got to be up there for Coach of the Year, right up there with Ricky Stewart, right up there with Serraldo. And as you said, Levon, like with the things that he's got to deal with as a New Zealand Warriors head coach, building developments, I think that whatever the Warriors have done to nail that, whether it was just all right, we'll sign this coach and see what happens. Well, fuck, man, they've nailed it, bro. Like, and the best thing about a head coach, right, is after every... You see him in every press conference. He's never too high. He's never too low. He's always consistent. He speaks consistently. He speaks so well. He doesn't take losses to heart. He goes about his business. He learns his lessons. That's a good head coach. There's a lot of other head coaches in the competition that blame many different factors about the reasons for their results. Some saying referees, some saying different circumstances, some saying blame players. Webby has never done any of those things. He's always said we'll get better as a group. He's always said that from day one. He's been the best coach for us since Ivan Cleary, for sure. And if he gets us to a grand final and fights us for winning a premiership, he'd go down as one of our best coaches of all time, for sure. And he's still a third-year head coach. That's incredible to say.
Yeah, mate. Josh, you got any other thoughts on Webby that you wanted to?
I think Ash summed it up perfectly. Really, I'm just thinking about the performance of our assistant coaches as well. You know, Stacey Jones lining up all the great Northerns has been, you know, millionaires, and Richard Agar with the Hus
on
in Vegas. So,
yeah,
you know,
like,
all of our coaching staff have been on this year. And so,
let's go, bro. They've been on.
You know, Webby leads that charge. You know.
Yeah, and shout out to TJ as well. I saw him in the booth.
Yep.
You know, good to see the young coaches coming through. And on the sidelines was the New South Wales Cup coach. What's his name? David Tangatoa, is it, or something? He's a good coach too.
Yeah,
good coach.
He's a solid coach as well. Just quickly, Wise HQ Women's are coming up soon.
Mm-hmm.
I've got some news around the women's. Yeah. There's some good stuff happening around the women's stuff that we're going to really push this year. So yeah, be ready for that when it drops. And I got 3 tickets for $30 at the Hamilton. The girls are finishing their season off in Hamilton. It's going to be absolutely awesome. So yeah, we're doing that as well. Richard Hedger is amazing when it comes to Soul Charge. Oh my goodness, Okay, we've got it here, guys. Now, I looked back actually at the end of season because I forgot the list, the names of what each tier we had. So I went back and watched the old one, and it was rough. You know, people were in poor, really poor season. You know, and this is a evidence that what Webby and what everyone involved in this has been able to produce, that we're seeing guys in the amazing and solid. You know, we all agree on it. There's no like second guessing. But let's just reorder. Let's go from the bottom. Just do these 2 easy. Dallin above Berry for you guys, or Berry stays there?
With the performances this year, I'd probably say Berry stays where he needs to, and Dal just
by the end of the year, Dal will
by the end of the year, Dal will be up. And who knows, Rocco will probably end up there if he gets back in and gets some good time under his legs. But yeah.
Okay, that's okay. We'll leave it. Yeah, sorry, go, Josh.
I think the reason for me it stays that way is just because like when Rocco has played, he's been good. Whereas like Dal has had some poor games. And so like, you know, obviously Rocco is, you know, affected by injury in that way as well. So yeah, that's why it stays that way for me. Cool.
Absolutely. Just quickly, shout out to Dante, man. Thank you, man. We appreciate you, brother. Welcome to the team. And guys, yes, for anyone that's I've seen in the chat, a lot of people want to join the Discord. If you go to the community page and a few posts down, it will have the Discord way to enter. I'll go and re-upload after this so that it's fresh at the top of the Discord. The community posts, I'll re-upload and how you can connect if you can't find it. But we'll try definitely get you guys in there. And when you pop into the Discord, say hi, and everyone will catch up with you. But welcome in, Dante. Okay, let's go to the next level. Let's go to sorry, I just saw this pop up. Shout out T-Max. Oh my goodness. So cool, man. Bro, you've been to Rainbow's Inn, bro? You gotta go to Rainbow's Inn, bro. You gotta go to
Vela, listen, take me to all your places.
Bro, we're gonna go Rainbow's Inn. We have to actually, you know what? If we got time, Team Mickey, we might have to do a little vlog. And Josh, if you got time, we might have to just bounce around and do a little vlog of all the spots. But shout out to Levon James. He was saying that Rainbow's Inn is one of the great attractions to bring talent over. You know, we've got Rainbow's Inn, we've got night markets. I remember that one. It was a classic.
100%.
Bro. That's us, bro. We're going to Rainbow's Inn, bro. You're going to love it. You're going to absolutely
Who knows, bro? I might end up living in these places when I move over there one day.
Yeah, bro. You're going to move
working
over.
for you guys.
I swear with the donations that we've had tonight, you'll be able to buy a house over here soon.
Buy a house, bro.
Maybe not in Auckland, but
hard out, bro. Hard out. Nah, man, we'll do some. I think that right there is saying, hey, we need to do some vlogs and try some We're gonna try some pies, bro. You love a kiwi pie, my man? Ash, probably having a. We'll sort you out, bro. We'll sort you out over here.
We'll have to, bro. I heard it's better than the Aussie ones, but I'll be the good taste tester, yeah?
Easy.
No bias here.
You guys are in the horrible season with pies. We're up in the amazing. We're in the amazing season.
Get me the Ashby's and all that, bro. I'm keen to try them all.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Okay, Okay, good season, guys. Let's rank them. Oh, okay. Anyone want to start with who's at their top, and then we'll just work our way.
So what we got now? We got
any of these.
Laban, Tanner, Ali, Tamaide, Gossi, and Bunty. So I think Gossi, Bunty, both where they can be. That's good.
Stay,
I'll
keep
probably
them
say,
there.
yeah, probably go.
Bunty
keep
just
them
above
there.
Cost. I'll keep them there. Yep.
I would probably say I would have Ali maybe just over Tanner.
Yeah.
And then everything that I think that's probably set. You could probably have Ali maybe over Laban just on the top end of these performances.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, and then that's pretty set.
Ali's first run was mean when he was scoring tries at a click every game. I kind of got it in that range too. For sure. Yeah, man. Actually, shout out everyone. Clendon Bakery. We have to hit that up. Ash, steak and cheese, bacon and egg. Bro, that's
I love my chunky steak, bro. Pepper steak. I love my pepper
man.
Steak.
Get rid of that pepper crap, bro.
Such an
What do
Aussie.
you
That's
mean?
man.
That's where it's at, bro.
bro.
Tasteless.
Nah,
Aussie.
bro, get away.
Yeah, a little bit of Tommy sauce.
The rubbish
bro,
over there. It's
something
rubbish over there, bro. It's rubbish. Absolutely rubbish.
Yeah,
We'll
you
sort
need
out when
the
you
tomato
get
sauce there to make it taste a little bit better.
like I'm bad with that, bro. I'm bad.
Because you're getting pepper steak. That's why.
Pepper steak. What is this, bro? Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Okay.
Aussie.
Okay, we'll go up to very good now. There's a good little battle here. I'm actually going to push Morata up based on just volume of work.
Yep.
What
do you reckon?
I've got him. I actually, personally, I'd have him over Dimitric, but I can accept that he might not be. Dimitric's still I think. It's a tough one. I think Morata's been real consistent in the very. What would you guys say? Would you put him above Dimitric, or you got Dimitric? The impact of Dimitric's just way more explosive, or what would you say?
I'm a big fan of Dimitric's work this season. As I said, I think that it's kind of been overshadowed a little bit from Lecker. But yeah, Morata, go Morata 2. Then I would probably, is that Tane and Sam Healy? I'd probably say Tane's over Sam Healy. And I think that's pretty set. What do you reckon, Joshy?
Yeah, I'd say that's probably the way it should go.
Yeah.
I might need to zoom in because I can't.
But you got a good argument there, Levon. Obviously, Morata's done a good job from edge and middle. I think that Dimitric, for the level he stepped up in, I think that he's been an unsung hero for us in the middle as well.
Yeah, it's a good battle. You probably say by the end of the season, it's probably going to be a very solid Dimitric package where you'll say CV wise, yep. Okay, let's get into great. This is a tricky one here. Okay.
Oh, this is tough. I would have Wade Egan over Jackson Ford.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go that one at
But
least.
I think that's pretty fair. Just off of Lecker's been just this ball of thunder. Bompy's been probably one of our most consistent. With Chanel and Bompy,
I'm going to sound biased, but I'd have Chanel just over Pompey. But if you guys want to rule against me, that's
no.
fine.
I probably agree with that. Yeah,
because the workload and the actual, the halves rolls, I give definitely Pomps. Yeah, get your pie. Yeah, what do we got in here? I just seen this.
Would you go? I don't want to. Would you go Egan over Pompey because of how key he is to our spine?
Yeah, Egan over Pompey, bro. I love what Pomps has done. He's solidified an edge that you thought would leak a lot of points, but it's a tough one between that one.
It is.
We're still deciding between
Yeah.
We're deciding between our top 10 boys of the year. Like it's
it's tight.
these guys are like solidified. I think like top 10, top 12, like definitely.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I mean they're gonna be close. So like I'm happy either way on those.
Are you gonna say? So are we saying that Lecker's impact has been like so significant that he's at the top of that list?
You know how much of a fan I am of Lecker. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that Lecker's opened up. I think Lecker's opened up a part of our game that I felt like we were missing very, very harshly last year. Like, you know, and this is not like Maratini could have is still having a great season in that, but Lecker's just kind of, since we've had him, I feel like our shape's sort of like fallen in fairly well. We've got dangerous options on our edges now to where it opens up our shape. So that's why I have him there. But you could obviously argue Chanel's been a key piece because he's obviously part of our spine. We're winning on that end. Wade Egan's got to be up there as well. I could possibly push Lecker down to just under Wade Egan and go Chanel, Wade Egan, Lecker. If anyone's on that sort of train.
Oh, I
think for me, Chanel and Lecker have been the top two of great. Either way, I'm happy for those two.
I think
just on importance and how good they've been and how consistent we've been. And Lecker's been just this like ball of thunder, right? He's been this superstar that we all just unearthed at the moment. He's had, and then again, also to argue my point on Lecker, you know, key moments against the Tigers, you know, where if he didn't score that try in a solo moment, we wouldn't have got that game. We've been crying for X Factor. And he's had big moments like that.
No, it's fair, bro. I keep it that way because, like, we've talked for ages about back row punch and, you know, impact and X Factor, and I can't fault him, bro. I can't fault the kid.
Yeah.
And the most impressive thing for me is that within 1 or 2 weeks, he was an 80-minute back rower and was not a miss beat in terms of defensive detail. Like, yeah, I got to give him that too, bro. Yeah, keep it that way. Okay. Freaking amazing season. This is a tough one. And even chucking in Webby there, it's like I want to give Webby the correct rank as well. Like you might go for Webby because he's the overall architect of it, but we'll figure it out. Actually, just me quick. Bro, I missed this one. Ash, you got to try some cookie times, bro. Best in the world forwards, eat them at halftime. Honest. You had some cookie time, bro?
I actually have, bro. Yeah, that's one thing we do stock over here in Australia. It's obviously probably. Do you have a cookie time store or something over there? I'm not sure.
We used to have a cookie time factory. Yeah, we used to have. I knew one in Christchurch, but I think there's cookie time factories.
Yeah, so we have like an international section of like our Coles and stuff where, trust me, bro, feed y'all lollies, all that sort of stuff. I feed on that thing, man. Don't think I'm uncultured in any sort of way, right? But yeah, cookie time's nice, bro. My missus actually was going to smack me around the other day. I stole a cookie time that I had, so yeah, let's not bring that up.
Slap you up.
Yeah, bro. I'm sleeping with the dogs tonight.
I miss the Coles chocolate chip biscuits over there. I miss those.
Yeah,
you know
that Rivals, bro.
Yeah. I missed that. I missed those ones. Was it Coles? Yeah, I think it was Coles.
Yep, and they had the full chocolate like dip, thing on top.
Yeah, bro.
Bruz. Yeah.
Harder. Okay, people, we're nearly there. Amazing. Okay, let's break this down. Whew. Okay, where do we start, boys? Do we want to start at the bottom end? Who's at the bottom end?
We'll go to the top because I feel like it's easy to go from top backwards, right?
Okay. Yep.
Aaron Clark's been our best player this year for me.
Yeah. I'll give it that one.
Second's been Luke because he's Daly M. You know, he's in a key position. I think he's been our best. From there, it's going to be fucking tough, man.
Yeah.
I would say Chance as our third best this year.
I'm on your way.
Most consistent.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yep.
And then I would say Barney because Fish with that pec injury, like this is only just
Up to this point. We were going to go straight here. Yeah.
Yep. and then I would keep it that way. I think that Fish has brought more of a club wide, like, impact. Capes has held it all together for us, been Mr. Fix It, stepped up in his level. But I think what Fish has done for the middle of the field probably outweighs that just a tad for me. And then actually Andrew Webster at the top of that list because he created this whole thing.
I was going to put him in third, but
I mean,
top is
we
fine
love
for me.
Webby as well. Yeah, obviously we Webby from a coaching perspective. I have him right up there. He'll probably go to Ricky, I suppose. Who's coach of the year? Who do you think they're going to go this time?
Either Ricky or
Serraldo.
Maybe
Yeah.
Serraldo, yeah.
Yeah, it depends. It depends how the Dogs go to finish the year, but I think like if the Dogs don't get minor premiership, you give it to Ricky.
Yeah.
But if the Doggies get minor premiership, then I think Serraldo
Pound for
gets
pound. Pound for pound, I'll give it to Ricky. With like his he's in a similar boat to us in terms of. But for me, like I forgot to mention this, but look at all the things under Webby that we complain about as Warriors fans. Oh, we can't travel. We can't play late at night. We can't travel.
Yep.
We can't travel back to backs. Okay, yes, you can, and you can win away games at a high rate.
Yep.
Oh, we're not fit enough, bro. One of
Yes,
the
we
fittest
are.
teams in the comp.
Yeah.
Like I just honestly, I can't. It's very hard to explain to people like that don't understand like the things we've have like consistently had issues with drop balls. Like we're one of the best completion rate teams currently. Like I can't fathom how much he's improved just the quality of the players and the club.
Yeah.
Like it's massive, man. It's huge. That's why I made
He's-
that statement. It's like I get it now. I actually buy into it fully. But yeah,
If it all goes the way it goes, and this might be a crazy statement, but it could go the way this goes, right? He could be one of the most important pieces to New Zealand Rugby League as a whole
100%.
for a long period of time because
Yep.
like with him coming over, it's clicked into gear with all our development systems going into place. I know Phil Gould had a little bit to do with that, but he spearheaded this the whole way through. If we had a coach that fell apart or we had, owners that didn't enjoy the coach, maybe little things didn't go the way, but he's kind of been the pioneer for all this, and it's only going to benefit the Warriors, but it's also going to benefit the Kiwis at the end of the year. A good Warriors means a better Kiwis.
yeah, that's traditionally been true. Yep, absolutely.
100%.
Okay, guys, there you go, man. There's our tier list. Freaking massive job. Thank you, Ash and Josh, bro. This has been an awesome stream, and so far we're not even done yet. But to get through that,
Crazy.
guys, take a snapshot, do what you need to do. That's what we think, and hopefully we come back at the end of the season and everyone's in the top row, or has moved up their ranks. So
And the premiership's also in the top row as well.
yeah, we've got a trophy right here in the spot there for sure.
Would be nice.
Okay, yeah, well, I'll take a screenshot of that later on. Actually, I'll take a
Yo.
screenshot right now. Let me just do one quickly, so I do not forget because this is very important. Okay, there it is. Okay, let's stop sharing that. We'll get everyone back in spots. Okay, guys, thank you everyone so far. I'm just going to finish off with this bold predictions. We've talked our players up. We've talked a massive game, and it's a true game. Have you guys got any? Ash, you were bang on. Call out your one that you called. What was it? Lecker.
Start the season. I said Leka Alasima would be a starting edge back role for us by round 10 or whatever. It happened earlier than that, but end up happening, which is great to see. I love to see that.
Yes.
For another bold prediction, brother, I had my other bold prediction was I thought that Tane was probably going to steal a fullback jersey by the end of the year. I thought that we're going to pivot that way, but with Chance doing what he's doing, but I also have this other prediction, right? I think it may come down to, and this it sucks to say, but unfortunately our two young centers at the moment are dealing with injuries, and if we're consistently having boys going in and out, it may end the year that Chance does go to center. Not more so that I want him to or anything like that, but more so on the fact of Chance is probably going to be a little bit more durable than those two center boys that we have there at the moment. Tane's been more durable and he's had more upside to where we do end the year with CNK, Bompy at our centers and Tane at fullback. So I might go that as my bold prediction just due to the injuries we've had with those two younger boys, and it sucks to say because I think the future is there for sure. I think we might end the season with Tane Tuapiki at fullback and Chance in that center position by the end of the year.
Wow, that'll be a big kind of shift.
It's a crazy move. I'm not to say I agree with it, but it may come to a point just due to Barry getting these hamstring injuries, Ali with that ankle injury, that the most consistent move without having Capewell there week in, week out, CNK, baby, you're going to have to fill that role there. Tane Tuapiki, you've been killing it for us. You must fill in that fullback role and finish the year that way.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, Josh, you got anything that you... What I know you probably predicted... What were some of your predictions? I'm trying to think. Yeah, what are you?
I was on the same wavelength with Ash on the Liquor one.
Yes, that's right, you were. Yep.
Obviously, I had Chanel to be the best player in the universe, and that's still going to happen. Yeah, I don't know. I have a few bold predictions. I think we're going to make the grand final.
Nice.
Yep. I love that.
I think Liquor will win Rookie of the Year, and I think that Luke Metcalf and Aaron Clark will be in the Dally M Team of the Year.
Shoo.
I love it.
I like that one, man. I like that one. For me, I'll probably go. I think we make the grand final. I know that's bold, but just something feels as though I think it falls in the right place. I'm not going to say we win it, but I feel as though we will make it. That's probably the boldest I've got. I can't think of anything else in terms of playing numbers. I mean, yeah, definitely. I even think Liquor's going to be Rookie of the Year. Trying to think of who might be the most influential player by the end of the. Dimitrik might have one of the best end of season runs. I don't know how you would evaluate that, but Pompey to score the winning try in the grand final.
Oh, the scenes, bro. Facebook will have your head.
Queensland come back from a loss at Suncorp to win the series.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's the bold prediction. Kurt Capewell to have a man of a match performance in the losing side.
Bro, shout out to Webby.
Webby,
you're a legend. I hate about that, man. No.
That was classic.
I love it. Yeah, I love it, Nose. Another one I'll throw out there. I reckon it'll be, I think we're going to sign an outside back, whether it happens before the cutoff or at the end of the season. I would love to see us sign a Dean Mariner. If someone's going to get dropped and they're playing Josiah Karapani over Dean Mariner right now, bro, bring him to New Zealand, baby. Get him on the wing. If we're worried about outside backs, we've got a kid there that needs an opportunity. We'll give him that.
Yeah, bro, that'd be crazy.
I got another one. Dallin to score 15 tries this year.
Oh, he can do it.
I think we'll start working out to the right again.
Yeah,
Screw
I
it.
think that start opening up a bit.
I reckon Roger will get a Dally M Winger of the Year by the end of the year, even if with the starting injuries. I reckon he'll get it. Screw it.
Yeah.
Gunslinging now.
Is Toby Crosby eligible for a spot? Toby Crosby makes a late year
debut this year, I think.
That'd be crazy.
You reckon?
I don't know if he's.
I reckon Kalis Fatai-Lofa would be close about. I reckon he'd be around about too. But bro, we can keep throwing these out there.
Okay, we better start. I predict the Warriors will win 5 straight premierships.
Yeah.
I predict Nathan Cleary will sign to come back.
Yeah.
And Ivan will come back as the director of football.
I will predict
and he'll play New South Wales Cup
by 2027, bro.
Bro, Jet and Nathan to be the New South Wales Cup halves.
Yeah, Luke and Chanel being our main man. I love it, boys.
People.
love
absolutely amazing. Guys, that wraps up our show. 2 hours 50, man. It's been absolutely awesome. I firstly want to thank Ash and Josh for making this a wonderful, awesome show. And I couldn't have done it with two people that, we watched the game, the detail and understanding of it, and I think honestly, in all fairness, that tier list and what we've rated so far is absolutely bang on, man. So I want to that's a good one, bro. I just want to say to everyone that as the super chats and everyone, shout out to everyone. But those are going straight to making sure Ash has a great time here. So when Ash lands, we've got to get him sorted out, but we've got to go hit the road straight away, bro. We've got to hit the bakery, Rainbow's End. Where else? Cookie Times. What else?
I've only got a weekend, boys. I've only got a weekend, but you better fit it all in that great weekend.
I don't think I've got to buy the first round anymore either. I think this covers multiple rounds as well, so might be off the hook a little bit.
Okay, people. I just want to shout at everyone again. The massive super chats, bro. And again, a lot of this is towards our bro Ash and all of us. And then I just want us to all have a great time when we have it. We've got our meet and greet. Josh's going to be there. But this is going to be absolutely awesome. Again, the Discord information should be in the community post. Thanks to all the new members. Thanks to all our regulars. And like, man, we're just so pumped for this, bro. Anything from you, Ash? Any last things?
Just quickly, guys, tune in tomorrow night onto my personal channel. Me and Brody got another episode of Down Unders. Obviously, now we do that and a Supercoach show all in one. So come for your Supercoach chat as well. Make sure you chuck your questions in the chat. And yeah, just an easy weekend, guys. No stress for this weekend, even though we haven't been stressing too much these days. But the New South Wales Cup boys and the Flag boys will still be playing this weekend, guys. So make sure you tune into them ones. And hopefully we can pick up some wins there as well. But nothing more to add for me, bro. Up the wires as always. Very keen to catch up next weekend.
Awesome, guys. Catch that show for Ash tomorrow. Killing it in the Supercoach, bro. He's at the top of my the Wires Up TV one. I think he actually beat me in the Tahis one as well. The matchup one. He's destroying everyone as well. He's absolutely, and my man Josh as well, fantasy wise. I know you're killing it in the fantasy space. How's that been going?
More so Supercoach now. I've let fantasy take a bit of a backseat.
Yeah.
Because I'm on the hunt for Ash. I've gained about 600 points on him in the last 3 weeks. So
you better start hunting, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, subscribe to Ash Thomas. And just quickly to Josh as well on Twitter, mainly, bro.
Yo.
King Hill. Yep. If you want to catch some of Josh's takes, bro, hit him on Twitter.
Some of my live tweets, some of my failed multis, everything. That's good. Yeah, if you want to lose a multi, come to my Twitter.
Bro, all love. Okay, people, thank you very much, man. That wraps up 91 in the end. Like, we had a consistent 130. That's you guys absolutely awesome. Get some rest. Big shout out again to Isaac, man, for that message, and we really appreciate that. Sometimes rugby league is the place that we connect to have that space, and but it's great to talk about it, man, and love for that message that you share with us, man. But everyone else, we got to have a week off. I've got massive stuff to get through, work assignments, so I want to enjoy the bye as much as I can. But everyone else, man, have a great week. Enjoy the bye. Get those 2 points at the end of the week. Put them in the table, and we should have a great start to this next run. But thank you once again, everyone. We love you guys. Appreciate everything that you guys do. Stay safe. Up the wires.
Up the wires.
And peace.
Wires, baby.